Greetings and aloha. What's going on? It's Mike's from LiveMyAssOff.com, along with
your friend Jeremy from DoMoreLife.
And together, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing more life. We're also living our ass off, and we are the boys of Bangkok. Just ask us. And just so you know, just for clarity, there are other males living in the Big Mango other than us. However, we are just two of them. And,
yes.
We're here to basically share our experience, strength, and hope, as well as our disappointments and our challenges and our successes. And we traditionally will do that on Sunday, provided I do not drop my laptop on a concrete floor and damage it.
That had to be the worst.
Important safety tip number one, Mike.
Yeah, good job, Mike.
They do not pass the 3-foot drop test prior to being sold at the retailer. And so anyway, so let's see. We missed last week, right? Last Sunday we weren't
we missed 2 Sundays.
Did we? Oh my God, any given Sunday. That's horrible. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. It's all right.
I have the benefit of travel, which means I have the imperfection of continuity, which means I cannot, or I am not in the Big Mango every Sunday. So that's a tough one, but I'm figuring that out. And the good news about completely trashing my laptop is now I'm basically forced to buy a new one because I've noticed when you wrap duct tape around the screen, you actually lose the ability to have the laptop function as a laptop. And so therefore it's time to upgrade like an adult.
Can I just ask real quick, somebody to comment on my channel because that says I have it's got a whole bunch of zeros over here, and I don't see anything happening. So somebody comment on my channel, please. Thank you.
Whole bunch of zeros, meaning that if I go to your channel, it's not displaying us. Is that what the new deal is?
No, it is displaying us, and it says concurrent viewers 11, 7 likes, but it doesn't have. The only comment in the live chat is my comment, and that's weird because usually my guys love to say hey and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I see Roger McGee, I see Prep for It, I see a whole bunch of stuff.
In mine?
Yes, sir. And I am on your channel. I can't do this as well as you can when you do the.
Okay, why do I not see their comments?
Just hit refresh. I just literally opened it up, and it's 14 now watching. You got 8 thumbs up. You have 27.9 thousand subscribers, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I'm getting there. Yeah, Robert just messaged me and said there's a whole lot of comments. So should I go to a different? Should I go to the video on YouTube? Maybe that would work.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're on the black screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about origination. No, it's not a problem. It's just that your results will be better as far as chat goes if you actually go to the live video, just like everybody else is. Obviously, you're streaming, and then when you go to that screen, just hit pause, and so therefore because otherwise you'll be watching a video. Oh wow, that's pretty cool what we said 8 seconds ago. And Go More Hike asks about my laptop, and so interestingly enough, Hike, I think actually that I will end up buying the one that I believe you and I actually were chatting about several chats ago. I want to go with Asus. And I want to get at least 16 gigs of RAM and at least 6 gigs of RAM, basically on the GPU, on the storage card, and I want to get an NVIDIA. Now I can.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mike. Yeah, I just want to say real quick hello to everybody. Hey, Roger and Robert and Donnie and Mr. 96 there and Tim. Good to see you. Didn't see you yesterday. Good to see you today. Prep for it. Hello, guys. I can now see your comments. Okay.
Awesome sauce. I'll do the same. Thank you very much for that reminder. Stuck, Todd, always good to see you guys. Thank you so much for coming by. And gotta love Thailand, of course. We love Dave. Met Tech, aloha. Paul, good to see you. And Bob, so awesome to see you, buddy. I hope you're, I believe it's either your sister or your sister-in-law. I assume by now she is way past any degree of recovery, and she is just living the dream. Carl, good to see you. Also, Sarah. Oh, Scuba Tom, dude, love your videos and love your posts. Yeah. So and so to that point, I'll go to Carl's what Hike as well as what Carl just said is go with the Ryzen chip, meaning go with AMD. There's a couple of reasons I'm going to do that. Is I own 0 Intel stock. I own AMD stock. So therefore, I don't buy stock like a gambler. I buy stock like a owner of a company. So if I believe in them, then I purchase them. And if I purchase them, then I purchase their wares. Otherwise, I'm basically having no integrity with the way that I purchase stock. And that's just me. So I was thinking, obviously, I'm going to go with the ROG version, right? The Republic of Gamers, because otherwise the GPU really isn't, beefy enough to do look, here's the deal. Right now, I use what was given to me for free, a Dell Chromebook, and it's got mild performance. It's got like 4 gigs or whatever of RAM, but everything's in Chrome, which is fine, for the way we stream. But the point is that I really want to do some decent stuff. I want to use OBS. I want to be able to use Streamlabs widgets and get a little bit more interaction. So I think I will probably go with the Zephyrus, I believe is the model, because it allows me all that performance, but I also believe it's going to be lighter. Now, there's the concern that it may heat up too much. And certainly coming up on Wednesday, I'm going to do a marathon stream, which means for me, basically at least 9 hours, if not 10, because the last long one I did was 9. So that's going to be on Wednesday, and I'm thinking about buying the laptop on Tuesday. So that's what I'm going with. At the end of the day, I'm a big fan of Asus. I think they make a decent product. Over here in Thailand, it's fairly easy to get service from that manufacturer. So anyway, so that's pretty much my goal. I think at the end of the day, I'll end up spending probably just south of $1,500, which would be really good. So anyway, Mango, good to see you, buddy. And
yep, Mango, good to see you for sure, fellow traveler. Good to see you. Well, he says, "Hey, Mike, love your." He's on my channel, but he says, "Hey, Mike, love your channel. A real intellectual."
That's awesome. Just ask me.
Yeah, just ask Mike.
Indeed. Yeah. No, I appreciate you. That's pretty cool.
I'm just catching up on comments over here. Go ahead.
Right on. IQ is an interesting thing. I got tested. I got an IQ test when I was a child, effectively, right? Like before, 12, 13, 14. And it comes up with this number. Then I started doing cocaine. The next number was between 5 and 10 points less, believe it or not. But the interesting thing is I still made Mensa. So if you guys know what that minimum requirement number is, then I still made that. The problem is that I went to a Mensa meeting and I'm like, you people are losers. You're all smart and have no friends.
That's 120, right?
130.
Oh, 130. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the reason I ask is because I took the test too a long time ago and I had 116. So I was, but my IQ, it doesn't, that was right after high school. And then I had 10 years of brain damage. So
yeah. And as we know, the brain cells don't grow back, unfortunately.
That's very, very true. Hello, fellow traveler. He said hello to me too. Stuck in Florida's on my look at my comments, Mike. Stuck in Florida's last comment. He says I have to check out the other guy's channel sometime.
Yeah, that other guy, that crazy other guy.
Tim says this is great. I follow Jeremy and go to his channel a lot, but this new guy, Mike, I believe, I have seen him a couple times with DoMoreLife, but the dude has an amazing voice. There you go. Hey, Albert, good to see you.
Here's what I have: an amazing microphone.
Yeah, the one I actually talked about that in my live stream yesterday.
I saw that. I almost commented saying, "I'm going to hold you to that, bitch."
No, you should have, because I'm deciding on whether or not I need to go look at the Rode Go wireless, because I know it'll be perfect for my camera, but I'm wondering if there's some way I can adapt it for my computer, for my laptop.
Well, the short answer is yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of it, right? I mean, you could literally wear it on your lapel, and of course it could be, I mean, I don't know, what do you like right now? Less than a meter away from your laptop, probably.
Yeah.
And you could do that. The only challenge, which I don't think should be a challenge, will be, of course, you're putting a microphone in, but you still need to, like if we're doing, I mean, if you're just you doing it, it's no big deal. But if it's both of us, then you're going to need to be able to listen.
Right.
However, you've used StreamYard before, and it's pretty easy to be like, okay, well, here's my microphone, and here are my, what they label as speakers. And usually you can do two sources. So that'll be pretty good. Now, do you already have like an external microphone or a lav or something like that? Because you could test it that way.
I do have a lab. I
Yeah,
do
there you
have a
go.
lab. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll test it that way. Good point. Good point. Good point.
Road makes killer products, although I will tell you for about 40% less, I would encourage you to check out Saramonic. You heard of that manufacturer?
No, but you're going to tell me how to spell it, and I'm going to write it
Yeah.
down right now.
Saramon. Saramonic, I see. And have you ever been over to Fortune Town? The mall.
Fortune Town.
The IT mall.
Nope.
Okay. So there is an IT mall that is probably about 30% bigger than that IT mall in Pattaya on South Pattaya Road, right?
Tucum? Yeah.
Tucum. And if you go over there, you will go to a floor that is, you know how they have like, you know, a lot of malls, right? They have like the bank floor and then the food floor. Well, this is so they'll have like the cell phone accessory floor, and then they'll have like the camera floor. The camera floor is pretty easy to spot. You come up under the escalator and you get big camera, right? I mean, and I know you know big camera.
Oh yeah,
a chain of retail priced photography equipment, basically, and reliable and pleasant and all this good quality products. As you walk down that aisle, you will walk to, as you know from IT malls, you will walk to store A, and then there's store A, B, C, D, and then again there's store A, B, C. So it's like a lather, rinse, repeat. It's the easiest way to shop, especially if you're down the hall and you're like, ah, crap, I wonder where that place. Oh, just keep walking forward; it'll be there again.
That's right.
And the beauty of that, in my experience, is the fact that these stores all have the same products, right? So you'll walk into a place, there'll be a Saramonic, there'll be a Saramonic, there'll be a Saramonic. And basically you just keep walking down the hall, lowballing the shit out of them until you get someone who's like, okay, I'm willing to do that because either I've sold other stuff or I've got a fire sale going on. I don't know about you, but I have yet to find a store anywhere in Thailand where I can have the same experience in the US, meaning I can go buy the product, test it for like many days in a row and see if I like it. And then if I dislike it, bring it back and with no hassle, get all my money back. Have you been able to find? Indeed.
Yeah. It is not happening, Tyler. So, hey, Todd, I see your hey down there. Just want to say hey.
That's
but yeah,
fantasy.
I have never, ever, 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 ever seen anything like that over here.
If you want to write down another place that you're either that or you'll remember, but Ram 9 is the MRT stop where you get up to the street and bam, Fortune Town's right there.
Ram. Ooh, it put PGS. That's not good. Ram 9.
Yeah, it's there's another sort of audio visual store there called Pro Plugin. Pro Plugin is kind of like the Guitar Center minus the guitars. Yeah. So it's got like, you know, pro audio and that sort of thing. And they're, you know, so in other words, if you need like a Shure SM58, bam, you go to Pro Plugin and they have one.
I got comments over here saying, Jeremy, you would like Fortune Town at Rama 9. That's from Robert. He knows I like electronics and that kind of thing, so it would be good. Yes, thank you, brother. He says, no problem, Eddie. We have to be creative with our wording over here. Whatever got deleted, Eddie, don't worry about it and don't take it personally. Donnie says, I took the test and was happy till I figured out the counselor was saying Densa.
Nice. Oh my God, dude. Did the guy even pass his boards? That's hilarious.
Mike's channel's name is Live My Ass Off, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Live My Ass Off. YouTube / Live My Ass Off. Really easy to find.
What's up, Mr. Mitch? Good to see you.
Okay. Doctor from hey, aloha. How you doing? Glad you guys are over here hanging out at the cool kids table. So Hugh said the 9 to 10 hours. Talk about a shakedown cruise. Yeah. So it was funny because I did 9 hours before, and it wasn't like I just did 2 hours and then 9. Before that, I think I did like a 6-7 hour stream kind of thing. And for me, it's super fun. And I'm basically getting to do now what I started doing when I was like 14, 15. being on the radio, basically. And I really like it. But the downside with radio, as you might guess, is it's very monologue-ish, right? In other words, I don't get a whole lot of interaction with the fans. Whereas YouTube, especially these live stream, is freaking great. I mean, it's instant gratification. One could argue for both of us. And so it's a very two-way sort of discussion, which is awesome. And I would argue that, Jeremy pretty much, feels the same way, right? I mean, you're doing a lot of
yeah. Yeah, 100%. For me, YouTube as a whole, and especially, you're not supposed to swear on this channel, Tim, but I do Mike a favor every once in a while. So
guess what? Swear all you want over here, because my mom watches the videos, but she does not pay attention to the live comments. So go for it.
Mr. Stuck said, Mr. Mitch, hello. This is the reject table over here. Thanks, Stuck.
the kiddie table. Yeah, and if you really have the desire to be incredibly vulgar and inappropriate, then check out the Bangkok Strange podcast, because there is zero filter on that thing. That's another thing that we started. I think we got like 76 subs. So, woohoo! No, but we're getting there. Got to start
Fellow traveler asked if you and I are both in Pattaya, do you prefer it over Phuket or Shanghai? We're both in Bangkok, thus Bangkok boys.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to tell you, my buddy here, Dana, he mentioned this, and I agreed with him essentially with a few caveats. And his statement was that Bangkok is the best city in the whole world, because I led with, in about 5 to 10 years, Bangkok is going to be the best city in the whole world. And he responded with, no, it already is. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a good point. Because, I mean, it literally has everything, not the least of which is the ability to easily get to 2 international airports within like 25 minutes and go somewhere else. And obviously right now, all we can do is go into Thailand. All I can do is go to the beach in Thailand, twist my arm. But yeah, those are sort of the limitations. Now, I had a few guys. So Todd said, sitting here waiting and the video didn't start. Are you talking about my channel or Jeremy's? Because I actually have not reviewed to make sure that mine is online. I assume it is. Otherwise, you guys probably wouldn't be commenting. But nonetheless, I'm confident that YouTube has figured out the technology. So unless I'm not on the air and Jeremy is, then you guys just ping me. But I think I'm good.
No, you got to be on the air because they're talking about what you're saying. So
good point. See that?
Yeah. Got to be.
You sure it wasn't 126?
Process of elimination.
Baby. Loving it all day long. All right. So, so I was down in Koh Phangan, which is basically an island just north of Koh Samui. Many of you guys have heard Koh Samui. You have possibly heard of Koh Phangan, and you probably heard it synonymous with full moon parties. The Death Island sometimes, because, of course, with full moon party comes excessive alcohol and drugs. And then, of course, at 1 a.m. during a big storm, when you're inebriated, the best thing to do is, of course, go swimming and or get on a motorbike on a nice wet road. So it's self-induced stupidity, which, of course, trust me, I'm not immune to that. My life is just different now. And so, but it was awesome. And if any of you guys are in Thailand, first of all, travel if you possibly can. Anywhere you can go, because right now I have guys who came over here like in the 60s and 70s, and they're like, dude, it is exactly like that, with the exception of the places like Pattaya. So in other words, you have the whole place to yourself. There's not that many people. There's no Chinese tourists, for example. There's hardly any tourists at all. But there's not a whole lot of 20-year-old servicemen with unlimited money in their pocket, and therefore, the girls are lined up, right? So it's a little bit weird that way. But if you're not into that sort of red light district kind of thing, and trust me, I was, then it's a real benefit, to go to all these basically beautiful places in Thailand right now, because it's also very, very cheap. Now, we were talking about us being in Pattaya. When was that? 3 weeks ago?
I guess it was 3 weeks ago. Or maybe we only missed one. No, we missed 2 Sundays. It was 3 weeks ago, because we weren't able to get together on that Sunday, and then last Sunday you had something going on. I forgot what it was. Let me address real quick. Fellow traveler says, do you guys know Ambassador Hotel in Bangkok? I stayed there on my first visit to Thailand this year and loved it. I did a review on a room at the Ambassador Hotel in Bangkok where one of my friends was staying, and you can find that video on Thailand. I think it's Thailand Hotel Reviews is the name of the playlist. You can check that out. Thumbs up, guys.
I had to see where it's a pretty reasonably priced. Well, I mean, it's 1,000 baht now, but I mean, normally I'm sure it's a lot more expensive. So it's right down the street from Nana. So did you dig it? Was it nice?
Oh, I didn't actually stay there. My friend stayed there, but he was in town. This is why I love coming over here and having like people, subscribers that are like, hey, do you want to do a hotel review? You know, I'm going to be at such and such. So helpful. Yeah, and that is yeah, and I went there and did the hotel review. In fact, that's a rather lengthy hotel review that I did on that one because I actually started and went through the nice, you know, at the bottom they got that nice lobby. Went through there, went through the elevators, went all the way up to the rooms. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. What's up, Bana Mana?
Oh, Banamana was on my chat first time I saw. So thank you very much for coming. That's awesome that you're here.
Yeah, thanks for coming over, man.
I titled the video because, you know, I mean, if you don't know, right, like at least for me as a creator, like as I'm typing things in, it like literally is just, it's not like, oh, I'm going to plan my next video title for the next 17 weeks and then I'm going to basically marinate on it. No, it just kind of comes out, right? And so why I wrote down my new definition of the 1%ers is because as I was traveling, there is arguably only 1% of the revenue effectively that is occurring in these places that I'm certainly going. And so therefore the whole 1% thing kind of popped into my head. And then I thought, okay, well, for the most part, I think many people, certainly my friends, when they refer to, well, you know, the 1%ers, usually they're referring to them negatively because they believe that the people that are incredibly wealthy in comparison to the remaining 99% of the populace are potentially screwing us over or, you know, not giving back, or their salaries are unwarranted or their behavior is inappropriate and that sort of thing. And I'm not going to debate that. But my point is that 1%ers is arguably normally just sort of a negative term. And I thought, you know, right now, I'm a 1%er right now because literally 99%, like if I'm at a coffee shop and it's got 100 chairs, I'm it. I'm on a beach that could literally hold 10,000 towels, and I'm it. And I'm walking for like 45 minutes straight down this beach. And so it's an interesting sort of play on words, if you will, I believe, you know, for us to be the 1%ers. But, you know, now that I think about it, and to the point of Jeremy and I, you know, how many guys do you know that would come over and be like, hey, dude, meet me at the Ambassador Hotel, right? The subscriber kind of thing. Do you have any friends or any colleagues or any subscribers that are like able to be over here and you're hanging out with them? Or are they all back home?
My friends and some subscribers are over here.
Nice.
I have a few. That's one of the reasons that keeps me going to Pattaya, because you have to understand something about this. Let me tell this guy thanks, and I'm writing a comment here. Let me just hit enter, and okay, now I'll tell you about my feelings on what keeps me going. See, one thing that keeps me going back to Pattaya is when I lived in Rayong, I got off work every Friday night or every Friday evening at 4:30. It took me, I already had my bags packed. I strapped them on my motorbike, and it took me about an hour and a half roughly to get to Pattaya from Rayong, from where I was at in Rayong. Good solid drive, you know, doing it with the NMAX. Before that, I had a Honda PCX, big, wide, nice, comfortable road.
About an hour?
Right? About an hour and a half.
Okay.
From Rayong on a motorbike. And so I went basically every weekend. And if you go back and look at my Pattaya playlist, you can see oodles and oodles of videos from there, and that's why. And as I was there, I also met so many people. I like so many people. and a few of those people have become really good friends of mine.
Nice.
So that's one reason. It's not like all the glamour and glitter and the lights and all that stuff from Pattaya don't impress me anymore. It's like,
Yeah, right.
it's not a thing. It's
The
when
novelty
I
wears off.
go, yeah. When I go, it's more of a I'm going to see somebody or I'm meeting up with somebody or something like that. Like my main purpose, the reason I went last time was twofold. One, I wanted to see my friends, and I got to see Gordon and Joanna in person, which was very nice. I haven't met them in person before, and I just released a video with Joanna in it. That was really nice. And the other reason that I went was to uh, see other friends. So I
Okay.
got to shoot content and I got to see some other friends and that kind of thing. But I was looking forward to having a little bit. People were like, "Dude, you had a 4 day vacation. Why didn't you shoot more content?" And I was like, "Because I had a 4 day vacation and I spent a day and a half in Pattaya. And I would have had 6 videos out of it, but JoJo decided to drop her." Mango smoothie, believe it or not, on my foot. And
Oh, I
I
thought you
didn't
were gonna
have
say you're Olympus. I'm like, oh my
the,
God. No, your
and
foot all
well,
day long. That's fine.
yeah, that's fine. But the thing about it, thing about it is when she dropped it on my foot, my finger pulled the microphone cord out of the Olympus, and I didn't even realize it.
Oops. Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, so we did a whole video on this place that serves 20 baht fresh. You can pick any fruit you want. They got
Oh, the
any fruit you
smoothie
want for
place. Yeah,
20
yeah.
baht.
Right.
And I mean, it's just delicious. They will refill it for you. I mean, it's
Really?
absolutely, yeah. So I'm going to have to go back down there. It's actually, it's just on the line between Jomtien and Pattaya.
Okay.
And it's off a little bitty side street. And I'm going to go back down there at some point when I go and refilm that video because it was absolutely the service was amazing. They had a professional massage shop beside it, but you could tell it was all family owned in that
Okay.
little neighborhood there.
Nice.
So yeah, my goal now is to thank you for putting up the PayPal link, Robert. I appreciate that, man. Thank you very, very, very much. We'll see if we hit our goals today, but that's okay. We did yesterday. We did very well yesterday. But in future travel, I want to get out of Pattaya. I'm gonna have to go somewhere new. Like we got. Didn't you tell me? Didn't you message me yesterday, Mike, and say that we had a holiday coming up in
Yeah.
October?
So October 9th through the 12th, 9, 10. Yeah. I'm not quite sure well, I could probably look at my calendar, but I'm not quite sure the reasoning behind it. But yeah. So you're looking in like what is that, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that.
I'm looking right now. Yeah.
Let me look in my calendar and see if it's one of these like normal holidays.
Oh, that's going to be a 4 day weekend if it's the
Yeah.
9th through 12th.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure the reasoning behind it. Google doesn't tell me that it's like, I mean, I have like Thai holidays in my Google Calendar, but it doesn't
Right.
it doesn't
This
indicate
with
there's a special day.
this may be the one. The Thai government said that they were going to create another long weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew that was coming, and I mean, they're trying a whole bunch of stuff, which really, you got to hand it to them, right? Because I mean, it's not like they're like, well, what did we do last year when there was a pandemic? No,
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
mean,
But
Jesus.
they got so many people that the economy turned so much
Yeah.
over the last time we had a 4 day weekend. They were immediately, as soon as the numbers came in for that weekend, they were immediately like, hey, we're making
Yeah.
another public holiday.
Yeah, there's good ROI really, because again, it's like one thing to say, okay, well, yeah, there's these retirees over there, and they're going to go on vacation, and we'll make it financially sort of attractive to them. But then, oh,
Yep.
Todd, thank you very much. Look at that, dude. I got a like mango and sticky rice smoothie, dude. If I could make one of those.
Wow.
Oh wait, so you mean I want to get mango sticky rice and a smoothie. You don't want me to huck it all there in the blender?
He
You don't
did
want
that to me. Yeah, he did that to me yesterday, and there's a mango and sticky rice smoothie. Not a mango and sticky rice smoothie, but a mango and sticky rice place down the road here. I told him I would record me getting some.
Well, shit, dude, I got to cruise over and we got to hang out and spend all of Todd's money.
We can do it.
Thank you very much, Todd. I am honored, buddy. Okay, so 4-day weekend, because 4-day weekend was so good. Yeah. That's so we're chatting about that. Because again, if I mean, there's a lot of guys like Jeremy that are over here and have jobs, right? So Monday through Friday. And again, I mean, if you eat, and I got a friend who was like, yeah, the guy that told me about the dates, he's a businessman, CEO of the company that I'm on the board of over here. And he's like, well, I really want to get down to Koh Phangan, but again, it's basically like a day commute either way. And, and so if you guys don't know, so that was one thing that actually Jeremy and I were talking about in the green room prior to the big broadcast. And it was around the idea that Koh Phangan is awesome. The downside is that it takes effectively a whole day to get there from Bangkok. If you're already in like Chaam or Chumpon or Surat Thani for that matter, it's like 3 or 4 hours. But like for me, I'll give you a great example. I walked out of my hotel in Koh Phangan yesterday at 9:30. Walked to the pier, got on the ferry at 10:30. There was a ton of wind because of the storm in the south. So the 2.5-hour ferry ride took 3 hours. And then I immediately, effectively, right when you get off, when you buy the sort of bucket of ticket. In other words, you buy ferry and you also buy bus to get back to the airport. Bottom line is that I walked out of my hotel at about 9:30 in the morning, and I walked into my condo here at about 8 p.m. And there wasn't a whole lot of waiting around that I was doing in that time. There's obviously some, spacing. But, you're looking at basically a whole day to get down there. Now, obviously, you can also fly into Samui and potentially stay in Samui. I mean, in other words, you can start your vacation, if you will, leave Bangkok in the morning, end up in Samui, stay in Samui one night at a beach that, again, has no people on it, normally isn't a tourist area, and so you're good. And so you can, vacation in that part of the world. And then take a ferry that basically takes 30 minutes to get you from Samui over to Koh Phangan. So you can do that. But again, if you only have 4 days, I mean, although to be fair, on a 4-day weekend, Thursday, what time are you backpack ready to go? 5:05 p.m. or something?
I can be at 5:15. Yeah.
Really? Okay. So you're just nice. Well, that's pretty good then. Cause I mean, obviously AirAsia's got some flights at 6 p.m. or something like that. So that's going to be tried. Todd says, I think they're going to try and push for Phuket on this one. What's interesting about Phuket is that, you and I and many other people, right? We were talking about this whole Phuket, what they didn't call it Phuket program. What did they call it?
The Phuket model.
Yeah, the Phuket model. And October 1st, blah, 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 blah. Well, about a week goes by, and basically the data that they seem to get back from at least the majority, or at least the people that were the loudest in Phuket, it was well, this is great. We need the money because we're freaking starving, but we're concerned about our health. And so we're not going to do it, which is, I mean, if you think about it, I was amazed. I thought Phuket would be yeah, look, here's the deal. We'll just have clinics on every week, on every corner, and all the massage shops that are closed. We'll just put infirmaries in them or something like this. And we'll handle the people that come over that are sick because we just really need to, get tourism. We need to get some momentum built there. And did you get some? Did you get some, right?
I got some. I would like to say thank you very, very, very much. We'll give same to Mike. Only children don't share well.
Good for you.
I like that. Good for. Hang on, let me see if I
can
do that better than you guys can say the $5. Yeah.
How much?
Okay. $5. $5. But hey. It's a start. It's a start.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, we kick around this goal on my channel. Of every live stream we do on Saturday and Sunday, we try to get 50 likes, thumbs up, and we try to get a contributions totaling $100 for the channel fund. And I went through yesterday on the live stream and explained exactly what the channel fund is for, and what it's not money to pay my rent or to buy women in Pattaya. It's none of that stuff. It's all travel and channel equipment. It's camera, memory cards, mics. It's the computer that I'm working on. It's all that stuff. And then it's when I do travel, I use that fund to do it. And that's why I'm able most of the time to travel and give you guys some good content. So just wanted to make that little announcement.
That's important, yeah, because I mean, again, obviously there's going to be negative Nancy's everywhere, right?
Of course.
And trust me, I've been on the boards of 501c3s, which basically, and as the president, basically, I'm the chief beggar. And, and I go out there and I'm like, look, a buddy of mine, actually, he was the CEO for the YWCA. And you want to talk about a really difficult job, because it's one thing to like go to an employer with your resume and say, here's the value I can add. Please pay me like 1/10 of the amount of revenue I'll generate.
Right.
501c3, I mean, especially if you're large. I mean, Susan B. Komen, for example, I mean, over 55% of the money that you give them goes into them running that organization. To be fair, they've done such a good marketing job that I think many people in the United States believe that breast cancer is the #1 killer of women in the which again, it's a but it's, it's health disease, right? Or heart disease. The point is that they did a great job marketing, and then they pull in a lot of money. But, the neat thing about guys, certainly like Jeremy, and then, this is just my judgment, is the fact that he's very open and clear. But again, he doesn't have a whole lot of expenses. It's like, look at, dude, here's the deal. And if you've watched any of his videos, it's not like, oh, look at me, I'm staying at I'm staying down by the river at the Peninsula Hotel and I'm having tea at 4 p.m. No, it's like, look, dude, I'm traveling like a regular guy, and and we just spent how long talking about how awesome it was to get a friggin' awesome smoothie for 66 cents. Okay.
Exactly.
So, I mean, your ROI, I would submit, for little things like this is actually quite good. And it's why that I've given money to the channel as well. And it's why I want to do these things on Sunday, because I think that we bring a really good perspective. I mean, I'm like old dude, that basically doesn't have a real job. And you're like a lot more common. You're like, look, I'm in my 39, right?
Yep, 39. Don't give me 40 yet. It's coming in November. But
I was gonna say, dude, we have got to have November.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking blowout party. There is gonna be, and just so you know, guys, both of us are sober. Both of us don't drink,
exactly.
And so the blowout party that we have now. First of all, we remember it the following morning, which is friggin' awesome. But secondly, it's really, in my experience, it's really engaging, because you're like, I really want to like hang out with my buddies and like have a really, really good time. I don't need to like accomplish anything. I don't have any check boxes, but I really want to, and I want all these other people to enjoy it. So I don't know. We should totally figure out something to do. Unless you just like, no, Mike, all I want to do is wake up in the morning, not go to work, and eat a friggin' Pop-Tart, and that'll be the best 40th birthday. Whoa. Okay, so what do we got? Oh, Hugh, thank you very much. And just so you know, smoothie be damned, get a nice coffee. Good point. I don't know how to do the finger thing to not show but at the end of the day, it's $5. Wait, is it? Can you see?
Yeah.
$5. Hugh, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. But he says, yeah, get a nice coffee. Do you get those coffees on the side of the road? They have like the Nestle with the umbrella.
I actually don't drink. I have gotten those kind of coffees before, but I actually don't drink much coffee anymore. I have tea.
Oh, you're a tea. That's right. He is so sophisticated with this tea. I was actually giving him credit for not going to the friggin' Peninsula Hotel to have tea, and then he double clicks on a box of friggin', was it like 9,000 baht worth of tea you got there?
3,000. 3,000 baht worth of tea, but it'll last me for 6 months, maybe. I mean, it's like, so it's and it's so much healthier than drinking coffee or drinking soda. I bet the reason I hit this tea stuff, so hard is because I think I had gout in my left leg.
Okay.
And because I drink so much soda and so much sugar and all that stuff when I'm at work.
Fair enough.
And then I sit because I sit in front of a TV screen 90% of the day,
Right.
and I don't get a lot of exercise and that kind of thing. And rather than going to the doctor and getting a whole bunch of pills, I thought, well, why don't I just try drinking more tea and just doing more healthy stuff, And so I did that, and it seems to be working. And I'm eating much less rice than I had been in the past. In fact, I switched to, if the rice is not pure jasmine rice or pure rice berry, then I won't eat it. So
okay, all right, well, that's pretty good.
There you go.
But how about the sugar intake? You still like double clicking on 3 or 4 Cokes a day? I mean, or is that all tea, all day, all tea?
It's I'm down. Those little small cans I drink a day. I'm down to like 3 a day, which that sounds like a lot,
No,
but
it's
and
like,
it is in terms of sugar, but it's much better than the 6 to 10 I used to drink beforehand. So,
what are those? There's like 6 ounces. I can't even remember what those small ones are.
I don't know. I'll have to get one here
12,
shortly, and I'll tell you.
That's for sure. Yeah. So the doctor out of Oahu says, I think the scope of the program is so small that its impact on the economy will be next to non-existent. It's more symbolic. Now, doctor, are you talking about this whole special tourist visa 90-day commitment thing where it effectively goes for $270 and people are coming in? Or are you just talking about like the October 9 through 12 thing? Because I would agree with you if you just, again, but you got to remember that a lot of this is not, it is the long term. And again, the Asians, just in general, they play the long game, right? But it is not just, hey, let's get some more tourism back here. It's like, let's figure out if we can get tourism in here and not have people freaking dying in the streets. Because again, just to get in right now, you got to have $100,000 worth of insurance. And you could argue if they had no integrity, they'd be like, look, dude, here's the deal. You got to have $100,000 worth of insurance. Anyone can come over. And if you're coming in with that kind of insurance, we're going to ship you all the Blumengrad and we're going to make 10 million baht every friggin' weekend because everyone's going to get sick. Okay. So
exactly.
They're not doing that, right? They're trying to, I would submit, and the people that I speak with here, the Thais that I speak with, they're trying to figure out the best way to do it and keep people safe. I'll tell you right now, the woman I spoke with in Koh Phangan, which again, the island known for full moon parties, her son was at basically the local business meeting, basically, of all the businessmen in Koh Phangan. Rotary, whatever. And they are proposing to never have full moon parties ever again. Because,
wow.
Yeah. And look, here's the deal. They sell buckets of alcohol, okay? And they're not using top shelf booze. They're using what's referred to as well booze, basically, which is effectively, vodka made by Costco in mass, okay? And they put these buckets and then they sell them for about 3,000x what it costs you. And then all the kids, if you will, get completely hammered and, they have a great time. But that's what that place is known for. And it trashes the beach. Like the following morning, I was talking to some people. The following morning on the beach in Hat Rin in Koh Phangan after a full moon party. Thank God they figured out a way to not use friggin' glass bottles at all. But the beach, there's people passed out, but there's also trash and garbage everywhere. Now, to be fair, on New Year's Eve, Beach Road in Pattaya, there's freaking trash everywhere. And then the following morning by 6:30, they've got truck after truck after truck after truck. And there are guys sweeping. By noon, January 2nd, you'd never know there was a friggin' January 1st party, the New Year's Eve party. So they handle it. But they're just look, because if you don't know, so Hat Rin, right? It's arguably not necessarily the best, but definitely in the top 3 best beaches on Koh Phangan. The sand is like what you see in Boracay. It's made out of flour. It's amazing. And even through all of that garbage that gets thrown on there, it's still incredibly white and puffy. So they're thinking, okay, well, maybe we should stop doing this and, increase the amount of revenue per person that's coming over. So while I don't disagree with you that it does have some sort of symbolism, some degree of symbolic gesture, if you will, to the economy, again, I gotta hand it, in my experience, my opinion, I gotta hand it to the Thais because, yeah, it's a gargantuan part of their GDP, but right in front of that is their desire to be safe. I mean, it's the number one country in the world to have dealt with this. The only thing number one Thailand has in their back pocket has been that they were no longer, they were the number one producer of rice. And but I mean, the fact that they're the safest country in the sense that they've dealt with it the best. I think it's pretty awesome. But what's your opinion on that, Jeremy? I mean, do you think it's like a good start, or do you think no, they're just doing it to show, let me save face? What about you, man?
I'll give you my opinion on that. I just want to say hello, Jim Pell. Haven't seen you in months, so hope you're doing well. Here's what I think. I think that the Thai people, I have to be very careful about how I say that. I think that the Thai people are going to do at this point whatever they possibly can to make money. I think some. I don't want to call it breaking moral standards or breaking ethical standards, but I do believe that there are certain things that that will happen right now that probably wouldn't happen if Thais weren't starving, right? So, and to give you an example, I don't know if you read this, but there was a Chinese couple that was robbed and unfortunately did not survive the robbery in Pattaya day before yesterday. So,
what's the background? I mean, were they at a temple or were they on Walking Street at 4 a.m. smoking crack?
They were in their hotel room, and so somebody had.
Really?
Yeah, so somebody had basically, but this is I like Splenda too, by the way, Mr. Mitch. But I knowing the people in Pattaya the way I do, and knowing what I know about the bad things that go on there, sure. I think they were probably cased, and then and then later that night, there were probably a few thousand baht probably went to make sure nothing was on camera, and that was that.
What hotel?
I did not. It didn't say it, or I don't remember it. But it's in the Pattaya news if you go back a couple of days. And I see things like that happen. That's one of the last video I have on Pattaya coming out, which should come out tomorrow morning, by the way. Kind of talks about just the danger level that I saw. Was it last weekend or 2 weekends ago? I was in Pattaya. I think it was last weekend. Last weekend, the danger levels that I saw and some of the stories I talked or I was hearing from my friends, like my friends that live there, they get out, go out, do whatever they want to, no problems. They don't have any issues. They were even like, now is not the time to be running around Pattaya. And, so if it's like that there, sorry, I can't catch all your comments, guys. But hey, Todd, and all you guys that are commenting over there, just keep talking, man. We're definitely not going to talk about that Silver Warrior, for sure. Sorry, Mike.
It's fine, dude. Go for it. I'm actually on Pattaya News. I'm trying to find the article.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't want anybody to say that there's sections and hard to be. Okay, so they're just talking to each other. That's cool. I think it is just a weekend sit-in more. Yeah, I'm gonna remove that one. I don't want that R word in my chat, please, guys. No disrespect to anybody. Just please don't put those in there. Thank you. So.
Is it the thieves robbed Chinese at gunpoint in Banglamong luxury house?
Yep, that's it.
Let's see what's going on there.
That's the one.
Well, that place will never do any business ever again. Certainly with the Chinese. Oh my God, they have.
That's for sure. So you can check the accuracy of my story there, and I hope I got it right. But
where is Banglamung? I don't know where that is.
Banglamung is like the it's a district in Chonburi, basically, and it's
okay. So it's still in the same province as Pattaya.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's part. It like runs into Pattaya. So I don't know.
Interesting.
PBJ Time says that robbery didn't have people killed. Well, the article says it did. Or one of the articles I said that I read said it did. Because I read more than one article on it.
Yeah, there are basically two articles on it, and they robbed 3 million baht. So look, I'm not saying that it's illegal, like to walk around with a briefcase full of 3 million baht, but I would encourage those watching this video. I wouldn't recommend it.
Never recommend it. Good morning, William. But yeah, that's a really bad idea, because that's a really good way to show people that, hey, you just have money, you have plenty of money, and they're going to get you. Now, whether they perished and all that or not, I read something about them not making it through the robbery. Now, that could have been from an external source like Bangkok Jack or something that could have gotten the facts wrong. But I do know that they were robbed at gunpoint. And even that in and of itself is a good reason for me to be on my guard, kind of looking over my shoulder, that kind of thing. Yep, I remember that PBJ time.
I mean, I think the point is that it's just like one of those deals where, it's one thing if you hear about a whole bunch of guys like jumping off of their balcony, right? I mean,
too many bad words in that in that comment. I had to remove it.
But I mean, the point is that it's like you believe that there is a higher likelihood of danger in Pattaya now than there was before.
Oh, there's no question about it. I mean, because you can see in news reports, the news cycle, just things that are coming out. Okay. Thank you, William. I'm gonna remove your comment as well, because I'm trying to be YouTube friendly, and that's a lot of words in there that YouTube probably doesn't like.
I don't have that requirement, in case you guys are just like itching to get out nouns and verbs. Feel free to share it on my channel. I don't really.
But I do. And my overall feeling was basically this, and that was that for the first time in my life ever, and I've been to Pattaya, God, I don't know, well over 100 times.
Nice.
Oh yeah, well over 100 times. So, and I have never, ever felt any type of danger. Yes, that's what I thought, Mr. Mitch. Pattaya is in Banglamung. That's what I thought.
And then Banglamung is in Chonburi. So it's not a province, it's a district. I understand. Okay, thank you guys very much.
Right. Yeah, all right, let's stop talking about the M word and the R's and all that stuff over there, guys, because it's not gonna. I understand. Mike's channel is Live My Ass Off. For Zookeeper and Pattaya, so anyway, for the first time ever, I felt unsafe in Pattaya when I was there last weekend. And it wasn't unsafe in the feeling like there was imminent danger around the corner. I just
Mhm.
felt like everybody around me. Yeah, I heard that too. PBJ time, I heard that as well. But I just felt like everybody around me had that shady look on their face. Had that instead of hollering at the frame like they normally do, they would whisper to each other. I
Oh, you
just
mean
a
the
little
girls?
tell. Yeah, girls, guys, whatever. Rather than, especially with the girls, rather than saying hi, come in,
Right,
that
right,
kind of
right.
thing. They would whisper, and then they would say hi, come on in, come on in.
Huh.
So I don't know. I just you and I both had a kind of same feeling. I think on that, Mike. I mean, we had some. We neither one of us stayed the amount
No,
of time we were going to.
no, I stayed one
Yeah.
night, dude, and because I'll tell you guys right now, honestly, it was more attractive to me and more entertaining for me and more pleasurable for me to take a bus ride away from Pattaya than it was to stay there for one additional night. And interestingly enough, the people that I interacted with and walking down the street and that sort of thing, I got a similar feeling to what Jeremy was talking about, meaning that, I mean, I certainly didn't feel unsafe. However, I wasn't like, oh, these people are pleasant and they're warm and they just want to hang out. And, even if they're just getting paid to like tell me how freaking gorgeous I am, but the reality is that there really wasn't a whole lot of that there. Now, additionally, too, I mean, I've walked down streets like so I stayed on basically Soi 2, which is the like, if you guys know where the teddy bear museum is, I was basically right behind that in that condo complex, which is in desperate need of an upgrade, as are a lot of places there. If you guys saw my most recent video when I was down in Tong Nai Panyai Beach, which is another gorgeous beach in Koh Phangan, I walked through this resort that the pool was down like 1.5 meters. The water was green. There was there were plants growing inside of bathrooms, inside of the bungalows and everything. I mean, it's that there's a degree of desperation. So I can empathize for that, but or empathize with that. I didn't see, maybe you saw this, Jeremy. I didn't see any food lines in Pattaya, whereas in Phuket, they absolutely exist. They're no longer occurring in Bangkok, at least anywhere I go. And I can tell you right outside of my condo on the sidewalk, they actually spray painted red lines every about 1.5 meters for people to stand social distance, where they would like literally for 2.5, 3 blocks. People would line up every day at before 5 p.m. and restaurants and that sort of thing would give out food. And I haven't seen any more of that in Bangkok. Did you see any of that when you were in Pattaya? Because you like cruised around a little bit more than I did. I went over to.
No, I didn't see anything. In fact, but I did hear that Nightwish was doing their thing later that week or this past week. They were handing out lots of food and that kind of thing to feed the hungry.
Okay. Yeah.
I did hear that much. William is making a point over on my channel, and his initial comment was, I want to read it because I think it's
Do it.
important to
Go.
talk about.
Yeah.
If I can figure out how to get back to it. There we go. He said, Jeremy, obviously people who haven't any money or income are more desperate and always temptation to rob. And my comment to that is that's true, but it's not an excuse. That's not an excuse for them to get away with it. And he says, I think Pattaya is still safe enough to travel about. Walking about is okay. I agree. I don't disagree with you. I don't. When I say I felt, like I said, when I say that comment, William, I understand. But when I say unsafe, I just mean like I was never in fear for my personal safety, but it was odd. It was not the Pattaya that I normally see. Not not talking about the guests that are coming in, or there being no tourists, or being very low in terms of capacity of people, that kind of thing. Sure, all that was different. But the real difference to me that I found was all this little whispering and talking. And even when you go in a massage shop or whatever, down there, they would usually they don't whisper. They know who's up next, and they take you and give you your massage or whatever, and it's no problem. But they would have like it's almost like a huddle in a football game. They would have these little huddles before you did anything. So I don't know what was behind that. It could have just been it literally could have just been my brain telling me that, you know, something's wrong. But I've just never seen Pattaya that way. That's all I can say, man. Hey, Steve Dunn, Sandman, good to see you, man.
That was basically, I think, what we simply walked away from, is that regardless of the scenario, it was like, I've never seen Pattaya that way.
Yeah, the feeling wasn't there. Like as Stuck says, I traveled in Colombia and Peru in the 80s and 90s, and I only felt unsafe a few times. I never felt unsafe in Thailand or even the Philippines. I've definitely felt unsafe in the Philippines, that's for sure. But not in Thailand, not in Thailand. And perhaps I'm using the wrong word when I say unsafe. Maybe what I mean is I felt awkward, or I felt different.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the right word for it, because it wasn't a safety issue. I wasn't worried about getting hurt or anything like that. It was just an awkward experience.
Yeah.
And you know, that is what it is. So.
And the bottom line is that even though, like, you know, you've been down in Pattaya before when it's been imperfect. I mean, let's face it, 1 year ago today, you know, there was no tourists, right? Everyone was like, oh my God, they're going to shut down the city because there's no tourists. And but have you ever gone down there with, I presume you went down there probably similar to me, which is like, okay, well, I'll stay a couple of nights. I mean, I'd stay the whole 4-day weekend, but I'll at least stay a couple nights. Have you ever left Pattaya after just one night before?
Never. I went to stay, and no,
but on Diana, right?
Yeah, fellow traveler makes a comment here, and he says they're always looking for the next big score. When I was there, it always seemed to be pitching a certain type of girl. The thing about Spidey senses activated. Good job there, 96. That's basically what was happening. My Spidey senses were tingling a little bit, and this fellow traveler, this is not that kind of feeling. Like they're looking for a big score. It wasn't that. It was just, it was strange, because I know when, I don't want to say too much. I know when things are not right. And because if you have, just imagine this. Imagine you were in Portland, Oregon right now. And yes, we're both in Thailand.
With all the danger.
Yeah, look, exactly. Yeah, we're the home of where all the danger is right now. Okay,
right.
So imagine you were there, and you walked by, and 3 or 4 people got together, and they were looking at you, and then looking back, and looking at you, and looking back, and then all of a sudden one of them gets on a cell phone. Right, you start walking a little faster, because you don't, you know what I mean? Like, you don't really know what they're doing. And then as you round the next block, you got 3 people looking to do damage to you. That's the kind of feeling that I had on this trip to Pattaya. And because it's very easy for things to turn. It wasn't strange like I wasn't wanted there. It was strange. Good question, Robert. But it was an awkward experience. I'll
Yeah,
leave it at that.
awkward. I think that
Morton
was a pretty
says,
good.
when does not know one does not know when one does not know where the next meal is to come from, it can quickly become uncomfortable. I agree, 100%. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell
Take it
you
away,
guys,
Mike.
if any of you guys know my story of why I like Thailand so much and why I label it my New Mexico and why I label Thailand my Thailand, is that Mexico was a paradise for me, San Felipe specifically, and bought my houses all prior to 2008, 2009. And then, of course, global financial crisis and all the Americans that were basically down there buying land on the beach and having houses put in, and basically 50% of the population in San Felipe, this little fishing village. It was also a spring break location, but many of the people that were down there, I mean, their full-time jobs was being in construction, right? So they were building houses and this sort of thing, and not all of them, many of the houses down there were being funded by second and third mortgages that people were taking out on their homes in San Diego, because of course they thought, no, not just San Diego, but let's say for California, Arizona, because of course their belief was that their house is going to increase in value 25% year over year for the next decade. And so therefore they were like, oh, don't worry about it. I'll be, so, and that all dried up. And a lot of the banks were like, well, we want our money back. Or it's a variable rate mortgage. And spoiler alert, now it's going to go from 1.9% to 19% or something, crazy like that. And so the Americans all just walked away. And there were some Canadians, but for the most part, it was like people just spilling over from California and Arizona into San Felipe. So therefore, 50% unemployment within less than 6 months. And those people broke into mine, as well as many others, homes, because they needed to basically steal my TV and go buy milk with it. And I can appreciate that, and I can empathize with it. Again, I'm not saying that I enforce it, or I'm a proponent of thievery based on just desperation. But the point is, that was the reality there. And so I understand why people are like that. And again, look, you got to remember, it's not like, if I get desperate, right, and I'm like completely out of cash or whatever for some reason, I'm going to like get online. I'm going to open up my laptop and I'm going to probably start doing stuff. And no, I'm not going to make, $250 an hour, but I might make $25 an hour. So it's like, okay, I'll do that. I'm not going to walk down the street and be like, dude, if I basically steal that motorbike, I could totally no, I don't think that way. So I think even if you're like really desperate, there's the infamous phrase, locks keep honest people out. Because if you're a thief and you want to get in bad enough, you'll just smash the damn window. The lock is irrelevant to you, right?
Exactly.
And because the only time there's been like stuff stolen out of my car is not when like I accidentally left it unlocked, or the guy like jimmied no, they threw a friggin', human being through the windshield kind of thing, and smashed everything, ripped everything out of the dash kind of thing. So there's that. But to go more hikes question, Mike, what's the biggest danger you've been in Thailand? It was when I got in my motorbike accident, which was really to no fault of my own. I had a helmet. I was on a motorbike. I was coming back from Jomtien towards Pattaya in the middle of the day, and I was behind a bot bus. And then literally 30 minutes later, I came to in Pattaya Hospital and lost 30 minutes of my life, and I have no idea what happened. So that's sort of the biggest amount of danger that I've been in. There's been dangerous possibilities that I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't do that. Like, in other words, when I'm on the pier and I'm thinking about going to Koh Larn and there's 150 Chinese people on a ferry that basically should only have about 100 people on it, I can proactively remove that level of danger from me, because there's like, I have no desire to go swimming, with a life preserver off of a ferry, because the silly thing's going to sink. So there's these possibilities, but I can tell you guys that for a foreigner, Thailand is ridiculously safe. And for big cities, Bangkok is one of the safest cities in the world.
Look, absolutely. I always feel safe here in Bangkok, always.
It's no Singapore, okay? But that's different. I mean, in Singapore, and here's the other thing too. I'll share this story with you. So my buddy, right? He's got a Thai wife. She's very educated. She's definitely not poor by any means. Her daughter and her mother live here in Bangkok, have a condo. She goes to school here in Bangkok. Yes, they have like farmland and stuff like that, but that's not how they make their living. She's a professional. She has a YouTube channel. She also does. She's got a master's. The point is that she's not poor. Okay. So I'm leaving their house the other night, and it's probably about a 1.5 kilometer walk down some of these sois to the BTS. And arguably some of these sois in Bangkok don't have sidewalks. Okay. So you're pretty much walking like next to the, cars that are coming, usually, the opposite direction if you're doing it correctly. And she says, well, be really, really careful. Like you should take a Song Tao or something like that, because you shouldn't be walking, on the street. It's really dangerous. And I'm like, no. I mean, I'm not really worried about it. I walk against traffic. I can always move to the side, that sort of thing. They're not really going that fast. And I said, well, don't you walk on it? She goes, oh, no, I would never walk. And she goes, it's much safer for you. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And she goes, well, when they come the other way and they see you walking there, they're like, oh, it's a foreigner. And she said, but if they see me, they're like, oh, I can hit her. It's no big deal. I'll just drive off. And I'm like, wait, what, are you kidding me? Like, where's that logic coming from? And she says, well, no, I mean, I'm Thai. And I said, right. I said, what about the whole like protect your own sort of thing? She says, no. They look at you and they're like, oh, if we get in an accident with this guy, it is going to be expensive. And that, I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said, look, everyone sees you walking around. She didn't say everyone. Thais see you walking around and they think you're rich. And I'm like, okay,
Hey,
wait
Joseph.
a second. And I was really perplexed by this because I had heard this sort of banter and this discussion and this topic, like, when I was in poorer areas, quite frankly. But she's living down the street with her husband. They're living in a very nice, big, like 200 square meter, 2-story, town. And but I was amazed at that label about how they're not going to hit you and you're in less harm's way, because to get into an altercation with you, it'll be more expensive for them. I couldn't believe that. Now, Jeremy, have you ever heard anything to that effect? Like if you're Thai,
I'm still trying to figure out give me just a summation of the point of that, what you just said, because I kind of got lost in part of it.
She believed that I was safer walking around as a foreigner, particularly a white foreigner, as far as being harmed by other Thais. Because if they harm me, then there's a possibility that it'll be expensive for them, because they will be like, oh, we're going to have to pay this off. We're going to get more fined by the cops. We're not going to be, we're not going to be protected. Whereas if it's a Thai person I harm, I can just drive off and no one will make a second thought. Which I thought was very weird.
Yes,
You've heard that before.
I have. Yes.
Really?
It's because, yes, and specifically, I've heard that in the context of the Ministry of Labor. For example, if we look, I'll come back to that in just a second. I just want to say, hey to Steve, my channel member, thank you for coming by. Nice. Doorman, you're making me laugh. And hey, Jose, it's good to have you. Joseph, we're good to see you.
Yeah, Joseph, welcome. You're not late, dude.
Yep. And Buddy, it's good to see you. And Stuck, it's good to see. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I had from a context of the Ministry of Labor. Here, let me try to explain this a little bit. If you are a teacher like I am over here, and you are under contract, as long as you don't violate your contract, there is a really, really, really good, for example, in virtually every contract that you will sign, your employer has to give you 30 days notice that they're not going to renew your contract, or 30 days notice that they're going to terminate you unless you did something egregious, like got in a fight with another employee or
stole something. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. So if they fail to do that, you take your contract, get you a lawyer, not very expensive, and go to the Ministry of Labor. and they will take it to court. And more times than not, the Ministry of Labor will judge to the side of the foreigner in that case. Now, in terms of I've been in one motorcycle wreck in Rayong that both of us just walked away and said, forget it. The cop, and the myself, after sitting there talking about it for a minute, there was nobody that had a recording or whatever. And it went from, it was looking like the Thai guy was going to have to pay up on the spot to,
really? Not you,
yeah,
the Thai guy.
Right. But it quickly changed to me. Because I guess he said something to the cop. He was going to throw in something extra for him or whatever. And it quickly changed. And he was like, so the cop was like, you can either go with me to the police station, file a report, or you can go home. And my bike's sitting there in two pieces, right? So I kind of, it's attached by one thing. So I just, luckily I was 20 meters from my bike shop. And I just kind of rolled it in the bike shop and said, hey guys, can you put a front end on it for me?
Like what?
They did.
The forks fell off? I mean, how damaged was it? Was the wheel busted?
No, it was, the front end was ruined. I mean, it was like,
Wow.
it was crushed, mangled. It was a 6,000 baht repair to the bike.
Okay.
But the bike was only worth about 10,000 baht. So it was a really old Click 125. That's when I decided to start renting. And they had that was one instance. And then here in Bangkok, I got squeezed between a car and a van, and the car couldn't stop fast enough, and it hit me. And he rolled his window down, and he was thinking, by his judgment, by the expressions, he spoke English. He was immediately defensive. He was like, I have it on tape. I have it on tape. I have it on tape. I said, it's okay. Just pull over here. We'll look at the car and we'll look at the bike and we'll work it out. And I did the okay sign, and he was like, okay. I said, come this way. So I pulled over into the next little thing. He pulled over there with me. And I asked, I said, does your car have any damage? Because I don't see any. And he said, he walked right there at the front end bumper where it hit me. He said there was a little scuff right there, and he just took his wrist and kind of, went over it. He said, no damage. I said, and I looked at the bike, and the only damage the bike had was it knocked all the dirt off of the exhaust plate, right, that goes outside the exhaust.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, and I was like, I have no damage. I'm okay. And I said, are you okay? And you have no damage? He said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm okay. And I said, so we're good? And he said, yes, sir, we're good. And he put his hand out and shake my hand.
There you go.
And I put in, hi, George. But I put my hand out, shook his hand, told him to have a great day. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Look, to be fair, I mean, you got to remember, like, scenarios like that happen in the United States all the time, right? I mean, I've had people hit me, and I've also come out to my car, and there's been a note on it. Some student, in fact, backed into my car, and was terrified because, of course, she's a starving student, right? And she was like, "Crap, I just backed into this brand new," and but the good news is she worked in the IT department, basically. And someone's like, oh, my God, I just hit this big black car. And it's got this plate on it, and the students are like, oh, you just backed into Mike's car. So here's the thing about Mike's. He's really cool, right? And she's like, yeah, but it's going to be money, right? And I was like, whatever. So it was no big deal. But the point is that we had a handshake agreement, based on like the level of damage. Like, how much work am I going to go into to really try and get this? And so, but yeah, I mean, so those things definitely happen, guys. And again, not just in Pattaya, they just deal with it differently in Pattaya. Go ahead.
Ty Z said that's the best way to handle it, JC. Thank you, Ty Z, because I felt like I felt good about it. Tim said if it's more times than not, hang on, comment just rolled up. If it's more times than not that the judge will favor you, does that hinder your case for getting hired in the first place? No, because they make their money anyway. There's a waiver that you put that foreign teachers they have in the government somehow, because the minimum salary for a foreign teacher, English teacher, is supposed to be 50,000 baht a month, and I don't make 50,000 baht a month. I make less than that.
From the U.S. Foreigner from the U.S. Yeah.
Yeah, so they put that stipulation on there on the foreign teachers, so it's excluded. Now, for the people, for the teachers in Thailand that have passed their exam, whatever that exam is, it certainly applies to them, and they don't have any problems with it. So. Todd said, I've only rode a motorbike in Phuket and in Siem Reap. I feel safer riding in Phuket than Cambodia. I haven't rode anything in Cambodia, so I would imagine Phuket would be better. And
it depends where you're riding.
Yeah, it does. William says it's best to stay cool. You are correct, Jeremy. Never get angry. Yeah, I did not get angry. Luckily, this was an older gentleman. Not old, but not old like Mike old, but he was probably between mine and Mike's age. Shots fired.
Classic.
And he pulled over, and he was a nice gentleman, and I was super humble, nice to him. And by bike, I mean scooter. Yes, I mean I was on NMAX.
I mean, and again, that's why they call it an accident. They don't call it a planned purpose. It's called an accident.
Exactly.
The Destino's question, JC, why do you keep going to Pattaya? I think we have answered, or you have answered that several times. You have friends down there, right?
Yeah. Who asked that?
Destino on my channel. And the short answer is yes, we've already talked about what I meant by 1%ers, and it's not the 1%ers the way that many people define them. So.
Yeah, and I keep going down there because I have friends there, and that's pretty much the reason.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not like I go for the beaches. I mean, they've improved them. I mean, they like put sand in there, which is like kind of nice.
Yeah, the next video I release, I will be walking on the beach, talking to you guys, and you can see the expansion that they did on the beach.
And it didn't die after the first rainstorm too. Remember when they first did that? It's just like everything oh man.
They did all that work and it just washed it all out.
Yeah. They figured out drainage.
Eric says, are e-bikes used in Thailand? Yes, they are. I actually ran into, I think I was at a store in MBK, if I'm not mistaken. And they had the scooters, they had the little one, like the one where you put one foot behind the other and it would go. It had like a 15-kilometer range on it on a full charge, but they also had it kind of looked like a miniature Harley because the handlebars were up here. You sat down here and it had like a 28-kilometer range on it. So it would be perfect for riding back and forth to work.
I saw a lot more on Koh Phangan for sure. There's also a startup, actually, because I live right down the street from Digital Park. And there's a startup company in Thailand, and they have that idea. And of course, what's their difference, right? With them, they basically developed a swappable battery. So in other words, you pull into a battery place, and you basically take out the old battery, put the new battery in. Which again is sort of the effective, very similar experience to you pull into a gas station and less than 30 seconds later you leave with a fuel tank full. And so it's a pretty neat option. I'll tell you that it's interesting how it's being proliferated here in Southeast Asia, because over in Boracay, for example, where they have trikes everywhere, right? They are only allowing e-trikes now. They said, no, look, we're not going to this whole pollution thing. We're removing all that. So, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, obviously, there's still some, but it's really interesting how they do it now. Of course, China is leading the world in e-bikes, but it's neat to see it sort of spilling over here.
I like it, and I like the idea.
The tough part is that they're expensive.
They are expensive, and there's not a whole bunch of charging stations around here yet that I've seen.
Yeah. And that's, again, you know, it's like, okay, how many Teslas are here, right? I mean, it's just not being adopted. And trust me, there's plenty of rich Thais that are buying. I mean, there's a lot, dude, you look down the stairs, there's a lot of Mercedes-Benz. There's a lot of BMWs, not a lot of BMWs. There's a lot of Mercedes-Benz because the king drives a Mercedes. And so people want to be like that. But yeah, it's getting there here. They're thinking about putting in electric buses, you know, but again, that's not much of a high priority is feeding the citizens right now.
Eric in Virginia, and I believe him. He says, I have an electric bicycle called a Rad Rover. It's really cool. You can travel 30 miles on one charge and reach speeds of 25 miles per hour. So that's a good city commuter right there.
Yeah, for sure. Any experiences bad experiences with soy dogs or soy cats? I've seen soy dogs, and they just kind of, you know, even when they're in packs, they just kind of bark at me and walk away. Have you ever had any soy dog experiences?
Oh yes.
Really?
Oh yes.
Like, have they physically attacked you?
Yes. When I moved to around, I guess I was there about a week or 2 weeks, and I decided I was looking at a map, and I was like, I'm so close to the ocean. I just want to walk to the ocean, right?
Yeah.
And so I went out at night for a walk to the ocean. And as I was walking, I guess I took a wrong turn somewhere and went down a little side street. And there was about 5 dogs in a pack.
Mm-hmm.
And they immediately started barking. And I was like, okay, I can't get back, so I'm gonna have to keep walking through them. Okay. And so what I did was they literally charged, right? So I ran at them. And as I was running, I took my cell phone and put the flashlight on in one hand, and then I had my other flashlight that had a strobe setting on it in the other hand. And so I was strobing them out, lighting them out, you know, and I was making sure I was staying behind both of the lights. But they were still chasing me, and they got about a meter away from me at one point. Eventually, to make a long story short, I ended up on some rich Thai man's gate, probably about 8 feet in the air, just sitting there for about 40 minutes or so until.
And they're barking at you the whole time.
Yeah. And he finally came outside and opened the gate, and he did something I guess he had some kind of taser or something. That's what it looked like. He arced some kind of electric beam over whatever he had in his hand, and the dogs went running. So
nice. You're like, where do I get one of those, dude?
Yeah, exactly.
Strobe light ain't doing it for me.
Yeah, and I apologize to him for being on his gate. He was, you know, no problem. No problem. I understand.
Yeah. Probably took pictures of it.
That was the last time I did that.
It's interesting. I will tell you that I've felt nervous occasionally walking down the street with the dogs, but I don't know. I've never had any sort of. I've had them bark at me, and I just sort of look at them like, dude, do you have any idea how much higher on the food chain I am? Like, I could snap your neck with, like, it's just, you know. So that's kind of a drag.
Exactly.
Destino brings up that soy cats are so dangerous. I don't know. I've never had. I mean, I've seen there were a lot of cats in Copenhagen, but I've never. And maybe you're making a coy little statement, but you're not really talking about real cats. But Brian, to answer your question, how's Gracie? We're going to be together soon. Are there wedding plans? The short answer is yes, there are. And you know, soon is relative, right? This weekend, no. That's not possible. But yeah, there's a trajectory. We also have some other plans along the way. I cannot do, well, I can, but we're not going to do the 90-day visa for her so that she can come over here, meaning that she would have to stay for 90 days because we have some plans that involve making sure that her daughter can travel with us long term, as well as get a passport and then, go to basically university outside of the Philippines. But again, she's 13. I mean, so this is like, trajectory. As far as getting over here soon, I mean, obviously it's not soon enough. It's much less sooner than we had planned. But yeah, I mean, that's the trajectory. That's the direction that we're trying to get. And, so, but thank you for asking. I appreciate it. Hugh asks, charging infrastructure in the PI. No, basically for those e-trikes that I'm talking about that are on Boracay, they simply just like plug them in at night kind of thing. And they're reluctant to take you actually up to, oh God, I just forgot the name of it. It's not Nipo Beach. Anyway, the beach that's
El Nido, Coron.
Yeah. No. This is the beach on Boracay. Those are other islands. Anyway, whatever the beach is north in Boracay. The hill to get up there is a real bear, and so it chews up a lot of battery. So a lot of times you're like, nah, I'm not going all that way. I'll go on the flat here if you want to hang out on White Beach, but yeah. So anyway, that was just a little aside there.
Oh,
we got for other comments. Sneak up in the
back. Why don't you go down a couple comments there?
Which one?
Go down to the one below. Go more hikes. That
Toy
one.
cats, dogs, hookers, LBs. Now I know why JC sit. What are you talking about? You're a jackass. You're out of here, dude.
Yeah. I have a 9-to-5 job, bro. So
whatever. Now I gotta
do your thing, whatever.
Just get a life. It's painfully obvious this dude is never going to be at the cool kids table.
Painfully obvious. That was just a.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Let me know. Let me get out of this here. I don't know if one of my guys dumped him, but let's see. There we go. And then I got to go in. God, I hate spending attention units on this. Anyway, thank you for that. Thanks for letting me know. Let's see. Oh, I can even block. I don't know if the block hits the API and completely removes them from the channel, but that would be kind of cool. I get the ability to block inside StreamYard.
It does.
Good.
Yep.
That's awesome. And yes, Hugh, thank you very much. Don't give professional ones either. Oh wait, what is this? I drove a live wire was just weird, no sound. Is that one of the? Oh, you mean Lime? You mean Lime, the scooter company? We had those in. They actually did a beta test of those in Southern California, in Imperial Beach, which is just right down the street from me. But anyway, what's the best way to get away from LBs? Come on, dude, grow up. Walk.
Yeah, that's it.
What do we got here? But it still showed up. Okay. I think I did what I could. I'm not going to spend any more time on it. You guys know who's supposed to be here and who's not.
Exactly. Man, that's why I went to your channel, because my moderators would have.
I get a similar amount. No, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyway, you took care of it. So, here's the interesting thing though about Bangkok is that through all of the imperfection, again, people down the street like waiting for food and that sort of thing, I never experienced any degree of concern or lack of safety or that sort of thing here. And I mean, look, it's not cheap depending upon where you live to live in Pattaya. I mean, as a Thai person, Bangkok can be more expensive. I mean, you can live way out, I mean, you don't have to live in Thong La, right? If you're a Thai person, a Sulk, Terminal 21, for God's sake. But but I never felt any sort of desperation here. Honestly, I think I felt the people here get more friendly. I don't know about because you live in a pretty Thai neighborhood too, right?
Yeah, I do. And the Thais here in my neighborhood are just over the top friendly. I mean, they're like over. Yeah, I turned up the AC, Todd, but um, they are overly friendly here. I mean, they are
Yeah,
super nice. They are
that's awesome
super accommodating,
for sure.
especially the people that work at the condo where I live.
Uh,
They're like amazing. I mean, they're just
yeah,
amazing. So it's one of those things that I could not be more happy about. The guards that guard the place, I've gotten to know all of them really well. They all speak a little, enough English
yeah.
uh, to to understand fully. You know what I'm saying? And they're trying to teach me a little bit of Thai. Me learning a foreign language is just for some reason it's just tough.
Yeah,
But I
I
do it,
agree.
and my Thai neighborhood is wonderful. I'm in a great location, so I wish I was a little bit closer. I wish I was a little bit closer to down like the center part of Bangkok, but
Yeah.
not being there is probably more beneficial to me than being there would be.
Well, I mean, you're
Because
close to
I'll
work.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
Eric's got a question about. Well, first, let me ask this. Glenn said, "Do you ever hang out with the Filipinos?" Yes, of course. I did. And Eric says, "If riding a bicycle to any beach, do they have designated areas to chain them up? Can you tie them to trees, signposts, stuff like that?"
No, you just leave them, dude. Put your helmet on there,
Yep.
walk away. Sometimes I leave the key in it.
Yep, I've left the key in it before, and I had somebody bring me the key. That
Yeah.
like that they would pull the key out and say, "Sir, excuse me, sir," and they would hold the key out, and I would say, "Oh, thank you." I might even throw them 20 or 30
Service.
baht.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something
Thailand
like
is
that.
very interesting. I was actually sharing this with a friend of mine yesterday because I'm in the international airport. Now, again, yes, there's less people flying, but I would rarely in the US would I have my bags with me. And if I'm traveling by myself, I'd be like, okay, I gotta get up, I gotta go to the restroom. I would never, ever leave my bags on the chair. And I did it like 4 times when I was in time just yesterday. I mean, this is the kind of thing. I always leave my helmet on the bike. I always leave stuff underneath the seat. And I don't leave gold bullion in there, right? I mean, and that, again,
Right.
the, the proactive temptation. I mean, I don't take that. But I mean, it's just so different here, and especially where I'm traveling, especially in these tourist areas that are islands. I mean, there's maybe like four police trucks. If you've ever seen the Thai police, the gray with the red lettering. I mean, it's just incredibly safe. And again, who knows why that is? I mean, you could say, well, it's because they're Buddhist, or it's just because they're Thais, or because they don't. I mean, look at here's the deal on an island. You steal a motorbike, all the other guys that rent motorbikes, they're gonna beat the crap out of you
That's
because
right.
they're like, dude, if you make it so that when tourists get off the boat, they're like, oh, I'm not going to rent a motorbike because it might get stolen, you have just crippled the entire industry. I mean, so it's great. I mean, it's the whole they all support each other, if you will, by making sure that there's so that's going to be really weird. The other thing, of course, is when I go back home is going to be driving on the right. I am so used to driving on
That
the left, dude.
Man, I am so worried about that. I am so worried about that because if everything goes according to plan, at some point next year, I'm going to go home and see my family because I haven't seen them.
Yeah,
But
that's true. I'm gonna do the same. Yeah.
yeah, I think I'm going to go through the same thing. First, I have to get a driver's license, though.
Oh, back home?
Yeah, I let
Oh,
mine expire when I've been gone for
three,
uh,
4.
July 2017. So I've been
Yeah.
gone for uh 3 3 years and a half almost,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah,
that.
I had similar sort of administrative plans for the summer. My last driver's license was from California, and then I left there. But of course, now I live basically in Massachusetts, and so I was just gonna, you could just go in, basically swap it out. I think my license is good for another couple of years, but for sure, I mean, I planned on like going back home basically once a year, and so I'll have to do that when I get back there too. But
I'm not in the financial position yet to do that, but I will be hopefully.
to fly
The
back
more I
home.
get, yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully I get. I'm from North Carolina. Explorer 2019 says, "Where are you guys from in the States?" I'm from North Carolina. Robert just put up the PayPal link. Thank you very much,
Oh,
Robert.
nice.
And for those of you that don't know, we always have a plan on PayPal. So hopefully that will be explained a little bit later.
I have heard of these Harleys that are electric and they have sound generators on them because you can't hear them coming. That's what these guys are talking about over here. That's interesting. I forgot about the electric Harleys. Yeah.
Where are you from? Explorer V wants to know. Like,
oh, me? Oh, it's like I
yeah.
grew up and I was born in Massachusetts, lived there for about 20 years. And then moved to basically Southern California. I spent about 18 months, 13 to 14, something like that, months in St. Louis for a gig when I was about 28, maybe. But for the most part, Southern California. I've been in San Diego for about 30 years. And then from there, Thailandia. Loving it, dude. Love it over here.
Oh, he's from Virginia. So
nice.
Many times a Thai traveler. Thought you were what? So Paul Tim says, "Oh, so you're a." No, he's Tim's mad. So you guys got to be nice, man. Be nice.
Who is this? Who is this dude?
Yeah, be nice to everybody. We don't. You guys in my channel, you certainly know we don't. We don't do that kind of stuff. So just everybody take a breath. We're having a nice chat about everything in everything good and everything to watch out for here in Thailand. And
I can't.
I
don't know.
Go ahead.
I mean, look, I can empathize with people that steal refrigerators or steal TVs to feed their family, right?
Right.
And so I suppose I could empathize with people that like come to a YouTube channel and they want to, add negative energy or remove positive energy or whatever. I guess I can understand that level of desperation too, because I mean, you could argue that like once we get past all of this financial imperfection, which is that's pretty low level actually. It's a lot worse than just imperfection, but
it's a joke. Stuck says it's a joke about Mike being from Massachusetts.
Oh, I'm a masshole. Yeah. But I mean, there's lame people everywhere, right? But I mean, the point is that I suppose from a psychological perspective, I can understand why people would be like, let me go somewhere and see if I can somehow make it worse and therefore make myself feel better. Because let me tell you guys, I've totally been guilty of doing that. And the only thing I could say is that first of all, I do it a hell of a lot less now. I may still do it. I don't know. I can't think of a scenario in my life recently, meaning in the last decade, where I've done something like that. But I mean, I can't appreciate the need to do it, because I mean, look, here's the deal. You got to remember, Jeremy and I live in the #1 country in the entire world as it relates to dealing with what's going on medically, globally right now.
Right.
So, there's obviously a little bit of jealousy and that sort of thing. But you also got to remember that, we're here, or I'll just speak for myself, but I think I can speak for him too. We're here to give you guys guidance on getting your asses over here as soon as possible without having to spend millions of dollars. I mean, it's totally possible.
Exactly.
And because, a lot of times I wonder, like I do these walking, like I'm on a beach that is ridiculously gorgeous. And I think to myself, should I even publish this video? Like, am I just like rubbing it in people? And it's like, no. I think that we both come off as people that are like, look, dude, we're just regular guys, like hanging out over here.
Yep.
come on over here and either live your ass off or do more live. Those are your two choices.
Exactly. And another thing I found recently in comments on my videos and other things is people are super grateful to get information on the now, the present, what's happening now.
For sure.
And also they are super grateful. Many of them have told me just straight up, dude, I live vicariously through you, so, and I completely understand that. I live vicariously through, people like Rike, because I first went to the Philippines before I came to Thailand. So Rike, Steve Montelli, who has become a good friend, and there were some other people that I watched in the on the platform, which now I wish I hadn't them. But anyway, there was some. There was some. Yeah. It's similar to what you guys do now. The only difference is I knew that as soon as I already had the money put back and everything, so I knew as soon as I had the ticket purchased. So as soon as I graduated college, 3 days later, 3 or 4 days later, I think it's 3 or 4 days later, I was on a plane to Cebu, and that's where I landed. And like I knew that that's where I was going. So I'm hoping my whole DoMoreLife mantra, which I'm gonna buy myself a lot of my merchandise on my Teespring store, because I want you guys to be able to see some of it. It's really nice merchandise, and I would really like to see a few people sporting some DoMoreLife stuff. And this is now my slogan. When it says DoMoreLife, that doesn't always mean you're having a positive life experience, right? Because you go through rough times, which makes you stronger. And so when the next rough time comes around, you're that much more prepared for it. As long as you learned a lesson when you were down the last time. Totally. So the point of me saying all that DoMoreLife stuff is, it doesn't matter if you fail, as long as you're willing to admit that you've failed and you learn the lessons from that. And then you stick your nose right back into what you want to do and do it. Remember what you did wrong last time and do the opposite this time. And try to keep it going that way. Because for me, I'm about to go on some new adventures and try some different things. Hopefully coming up in the next 6 to 10 months. And I'm going to try to get my goal is to get free from that 9 to 5, and be able to travel. Be able to go around Thailand and travel. As I was explaining yesterday, there's no point in me going to Vietnam or Cambodia or anywhere else right now. I haven't even seen 1/8 of Thailand. So it's important for me to see that, and it's important for the people that follow me to see parts of Thailand that everybody else is blogged on, but to see my perspective from it. And I think that's a big deal.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, I think that again, Thailand. Thank God, right? That Thailand has so much to offer. I mean, I got this. I certainly got, just like you. I got tons of other stuff that I can still do in Thailand. Yeah, I can go to Cambodia. I can go to Vietnam eventually, right? But anyway, so all right. So Todd says he bought a baseball jersey today. So when he meets up with me, because one of the things I talked with Todd about. And again, Todd, thank you very much for all the email updates and that sort of thing on your elite process, as well as your Cambodian visa and everything. I think it's going to be gargantuanly important to the rest of the folks on both our channels. So I'm stoked when you get over here for us to do the interview, maybe possibly a live stream, because there'll be, at that time, there will still be a lot of people like, okay, I need to do something like this weekend. So I think it'll be really great to be able to answer that. And then I also wanted to get down to a couple of his other comments, which is, when is he leaving the U.S.? Does he have room for one more in his luggage? So the 29th at 1:20 p.m. is when he leaves, and then the Saturday, next Saturday, he's going to go for the test, which is going to be pretty interesting. He's at an appointment on the 25th to affix the elite visa, and then from there, it's going to be like, okay, so how do I get into? So that was his plan. So I know that Todd's plan was to initially do this in the U.S., and then he was considering getting the visa fixed at the Thai embassy in Cambodia, spending some time in Cambodia, and then getting from Cambodia over to Thailand. But that's really cool. I feel awesome cool that I have seen more of Thailand than Jay. He's giving you a hard time. I also wanted to get actually back because it does interest me too, because I'm an electrical engineer, right? The e-scooters in Thailand will be better supported than the Philippines. I completely agree with you because there's more ability.
Sorry, I just saw his comment. I saw Todd's comment there.
Yeah. And
okay.
Totally, right? And I think that they're more willing here in Thailand, I think, to put money into that kind of infrastructure at the government level, at the individual company level, but also at the individual level. Like they're more willing to say, well, if I buy this now, it's going to be kind of more expensive, but the gringos might dig it, so I might be able to get more money. The e-trikes, just so you know, in Boracay, they are more expensive. And so that was sort of a deterrent initially. And that's another reason why they were like, no, we're only going to have e-trikes here. And then, of course, it was just like, okay, let's just go for it and let's get rid of all this damn gasoline. Now, of course, don't forget, you need a lot of electricity, right? And how do you generate electricity in the Philippines? Either, gas, basically a fuel of some kind, coal, whatever. So anyway, all right. So let me make sure I get to all of his comments. Hugh, that's awesome, dude. You're 5 to 6 months behind Todd. Good for you, man. That's fantastic. Can't wait for you to get over here either. Red Sox home jersey, classic Boston jersey. No, you got to get a Red Sox one. Boston's irrelevant. The Red Sox are what's important, dude. The Sox. If you don't say it correctly,
Sox. I got some stuff going on over here on the comment section.
I'm caught up on mine. When you get to some of yours, I'm going to grab another cup of coffee. So I'll be right back.
Go right ahead, man. Talking about other vloggers and that's cool. But out of all the vloggers you mentioned there, Kev, or Tim, I'm sorry, Kev is the only one that I met, and he was a great guy. I had no problem with him at all. He was wonderful. Every time I called him, he answered the phone or he called me back. He was a good guy. Really was a good guy. Haven't heard too much about the other vloggers that you mentioned. I recognize 2 of them, but it is what it is. Stuck in Florida said I just don't have the time because I work all week. I just don't have the time to sit down and watch other vloggers. So it's kind of like, I wish I had more time to do that. I do watch Chuck and Paige though, from No Time to Be Sad. I do watch them occasionally. And I watch Simon every once in a while when I get a chance. Stuck in Florida says, Rike was just getting started when I left the Philippines. We were both in Dumaguete at the same time. He didn't like the name of my old channel, but talked to him about online dating. Yeah, he's a good one to talk to about dating, period, in the Philippines, whether it be online or in person. He's got enough experience. So that's good. Addie says, he's talking about Kev. Explorer, catch up with me. Been 7 times since 91. I'll probably be there in March also. Definitely. I love it when people come. Carl, what's up, Carl? Good to see you, man. Always enjoy your guys getting together. Great stuff, but need to do more sleep. Good night. Okay, Carl. Good night to you, buddy. Explover is what I think it's how it says that. I'm just going to call him 2019. Eric got a pizza place in Short Pump. I have no idea what that means. Addie says, I'm going back early next year. I cannot wait for my better half. I hear you, man. Joseph Pinto says, go Yankees for Mike. Andy says, True J, I wish I met Kev. I did. I had dinner with him, and he was just a wonderful guy. He wasn't sick at that time either, and he was a wonderful guy. Somebody asked about when did the first time I was in the Philippines. I was in the Philippines from July of 2017 until April of 2018. Tim says, yeah, I agree with you, Tim. Stuck said, I had been going to the Philippines since 1990. At that time, I actually knew more than Rike. Yeah. XRP is a crypto. Oh, okay. Got you, man. That's why I don't know anything about it. Explorer 2019 says Todd. Well, I would that's how I would have pronounced it to begin with, but if I butcher your guys' name, I'm sorry. I don't mean to. I'm just I'm a guy that at one time had 112 IQ, and then I fried my brain. I'm sorry.
Was someone talking about Ripple? Because I'm a huge fan of the Tangle, dude. If you guys want to talk knee deep into that technology, but I have a feeling you don't.
Ripple.
XRP is the abbreviation for the altcoin Rip. Oh my God. Yes, Ripple. And so, what is it at now? It's at like 25 cents.
Joseph says, I have to tell you, he said, go Yankees for Mike.
Oh yeah. Trust me, dude. I don't follow baseball. I mean, baseball is, it's adorable, but I like hockey. I mean, because I'm, my whole family's Canadian. But
I don't like either one of them.
What do you like? Basketball maybe?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. My favorite sport to watch, the only one that I really, really watch is the NFL. But with the way things are, then I'm just gonna leave it at this.
Oh yeah, sure, of course.
With the way things are going, in the NBA, the NFL, and MLB, it causes me to lose interest. Not because for various reasons. I haven't, it is what it is. Joseph, use abbreviations over here, brother.
Yeah, if you want to be inappropriate, then either come over to my channel or join us on Bangkok Strange, because we're ridiculous. Yeah. We're ridiculous.
Caesar says, Jared, what do you read these days? I actually don't read. To be honest with you, I don't read. I watch a ton. I am not a. I can read an entire page of a book in probably 30 seconds, and I cannot tell you in 30 seconds after I read it. I cannot tell you what I read because I just it just goes right over my head. It's all good, Joseph.
My experience with that is that it's just simply because you don't do it enough. That happens after a while if you don't read for a while. But of course, the initial impression is, okay, well, this is unenjoyable because I'm not remembering it. My point is, it totally happens to me. It's kind of like, learning Linux. If you don't type with the command line for like 6 months, you're like, oh God, what is the command for, and so I think that happens a lot with reading. And I used to love reading. I used to read like crazy. And the more I read, the more I wanted to read. And then I just got distracted. There's just like a lot more stimuli available elsewhere right now, unfortunately.
100%. Stuck in Florida makes a good point. He's from North Carolina. He better like basketball. I do, and I'm a diehard Tar Heel fan. So you're right.
Are you supposed to like bass fishing? I mean, isn't that what if you're from North Carolina?
If you're from North Carolina, you probably should be into some type of fishing. You definitely need to either be a Duke or Tar Heel fan.
Me too.
Possibly NC State, but that's a whole different thing.
The commoners that went to state schools like me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike mentioned he's never got into Bitcoin. I will tell you that Bitcoin is arguably the least efficient technology in all of that cryptocurrency, as well as cryptography kind of thing and mathematics. It's just the first one and it's the most popular. And, you know, but there's a lot of really cool technology. I'll just throw out there the reason that I love Ripple so much and the reason that I love the Tangle. And if you don't know, so Bitcoin is an actual type of cryptocurrency that runs on top of the blockchain, okay, which is a ledger. And Ripple is just simply another type of that. It runs on its own ledger called the Tangle. And the Tangle was developed by the guys from Google. The reason that's important to all of you is that technology is what's going to be used when autonomous cars and vehicles talk to one another. Because if you think about it, the current drivers of vehicles talk to one another, meaning I'm driving a car down the street. I am making a decision whether I should go in front of him and drive faster and hit him, or I shouldn't. And so therefore, the ability to do that by an autonomous vehicle is interesting. If the two actually communicate on the same sort of protocol, meaning they both speak English, if you will, then it makes it even safer. And so it's a really awesome technology that I highly encourage you guys to look at. The coin stuff is really not relevant. It's the underlying technology that I find very, very sexy, and it's going to be in our lives. It's going to be in our lives even more ingrained than AI and ML. So have a look at it, Hike. I'm telling you, man, it's kind of neat.
That's very interesting. I'm gonna try to catch up. I'm gonna try to catch up my comments real quick, Mike.
Do it.
Let's see here. Tim says, I would rather watch a good high school football game than the NFL. I tell you what, there's many times I feel the same way. A good high school football game, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like Friday Night Lights, where you got the Friday night, go out with your friends. I used to be on the field on Friday nights in high school for a short period of time, and until I had to start working to pay for my car. Caesar says teaching takes 100%. Go home and charge battery. Yeah, that's pretty much. You make a very good point there, Caesar. It's hard for me to do things during the week because it's so mentally. It's mentally draining. Teaching is. It really is. And when you get home, the last thing you want to do is, try to set up content. So like when I get off the stream today, I'm going to edit a video and schedule it for tomorrow. I'm going to do some work, and then I'm going to take a shower, and then I'm just going to hang out for the rest of the day because I went out yesterday and ran some errands. So it does take 100%, which is why it's so important that when it's time to travel, that travel fund is or the channel fund that I have is as full as possible, because the less I have to worry about spending on a trip, the more comfortable I am, and thus the more content you guys get. Again, I'm just telling you the honest truth. Stuck says NASCAR and basketball, and just as I say that, in comes $10. Right. He said NASCAR and basketball are North Carolina traditions. 100%, 100%, 100% agree right there. And we've just gotten $10 from.
Good for you.
100. Oh, check this out. He's got a challenge too. Hang on, let me get back to the other screen. So he says he sent $10. He says challenge time. For every 50, I will send 10.
Every 50,
meaning every
individual that gives 50, or every time you
No,
get
no,
an
no,
individual?
no. Meaning for every $50 that we make, he will
Got it.
send 10. That's not hard to do either because I got let me see how many people. I got 47 people watching right now.
Nice.
And if I was saying yesterday, if 20 people send $5, we got our $100 goal. And that's not that shouldn't be a big deal. People usually contribute to the channel because they value the content that comes out of it, and they know I'm going to continue to bring the heat with the content.
Well, based on your math, I'll just say I got 17 people watching me right now, and along those lines, if each of you give me $100, I'm going to have a friggin' amazing time in Koh Phangan. Just throwing it out there, just double clicking on some math. I'm not a reader, I'm more of an engineer. But King Leeway says he loves watching the LA Kings at Staples, but I know it's the characters right next to each other on the keyboard. Staples Center. Yeah, Kings are really good. I'm a fan of the Ducks. Obviously, I love Boston Bruins, but yeah, I've been to some Kings games. They're pretty good. The fans are kind of losers, but yeah, they can be.
We got some comments over here that says, there's some interesting comments about Ripple and Bitcoin, but I don't know anything about them, so we'll leave those for a second.
You can put
Texas
them on my
high
channel.
school football. Yeah, Texas high school football is awesome, Todd. I agree. Eric says, XRP, what is your name? I will pay a visit over there. You work in the building. Oh, he must be talking about the guy on my channel over here. Tim says, well, Jeremy, sounds like a sexy life you have. You do know, I hope I'm kidding. Of course. And my man, Mr. Joseph Pinto. Joseph
nice.
Pinto comes in with $5. $5. Let me get back to the other screen. Hang on. $5. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it very, very, very much. So that's 20 and 10. That's 30 altogether so far. We're getting there. We're getting there. The goal is 100. We're getting there. I believe we can make it. I believe we can make it. Yeah, I know you're kidding, Tim. Stuck says, Tim, that's great. I've seen 12, but I think it was the most skips. Addie says, my plan is living off audiobooks. Yes, we know. And I actually was going to say, rather than reading, I've been listening to audiobooks. And for me, it's like I'm an audio visual learner. Reading is just not the thing. The other guy's channel is Live My Ass Off for Explorer 2019, I think. The King Leeway says, hi, Jeremy. I hate Duke. Me too. And always cheer for the Tar Heels against them. Absolutely. During college basketball season. My man.
Todd asks, Kings or Lakers, dude? It's Kings all day long. Come on.
Kings all day long?
Oh, yeah.
Eddie says he's talking about Koh Phangan. That may be, you might want to look at that.
Can't see.
Caesar says, my girlfriend drank an entire quart of whipping cream.
Your foundational needs for relationships are definitely interesting than mine.
I think so. And thanks, Robert, for putting up the PayPal link. Appreciate that, bro.
Greetings, Andy. Good to see you. Andy says hi to both of us. Andy's a really, really good guy.
Hi, Andy.
My smoothie link isn't working. All right, stand by. Go for it. I got to fix some stuff, apparently.
Your smoothie link is not working.
Yeah, that doesn't make me happy.
It's because you only have on the screen, you only have youtube.com/your channel name.
No, but you can't click on that link anyway. Anyway, I just went to buymeasmoothie.com and it worked. Hold on, let me try incognito browser. I'm just being technical. You talk all day long. Go for it.
Okay, no problem. See, Joseph said, just got a t-shirt. You just got one of my t-shirts? That's awesome, bro. Thank you for going over to Teespring and getting one. That's awesome. The link is in the description of the video. If you guys want to go buy some merch, it is over there. That's awesome, Joseph. I really appreciate it. Caesar says, meanwhile, how does a person get started with Bitcoin step by step? Oh, that's probably another video. Yeah, Ping Mike. Stuck in Florida says Caesar is in Bangkok because the explorer asked what country he was in. So he is in Bangkok. Yeah, I'm definitely, for those of you that don't know. Oh, Joseph said yes, I did. That's awesome, bro. Thank you so much, man. I need what you got over there.
I got distracted by Hughes comment. He's like, Mike, you already told us how much your airfare and hotel costs. Better try the sick Buffalo one. Yeah, if I want people to give me $100. No, totally, dude. I mean, my beachfront bungalow was $20. It started out at $22, and by the time I left, it was at $20 because the woman was so stoked I was staying one more day. My airfare is 75 baht each way. So yeah, absolutely. Sorry, maybe I'm at 100 baht. Maybe if you guys give me 100 baht, that'd be enough. Life's good.
There's the Teespring link Robert put up. Robert has also put up a challenge for every 50 he'll put in 10. So if we get to $50, which we're at 40 right now, he'll put in 10. So we'll only need 40 more. How about that?
Let me see here. I know that I'm a big fan of the Tiger. And so let me click on Todd. Todd's got a wrench. So any of you guys that are on my channel that you saw Todd's post, feel free to click on that. It looks pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, again, at the end of the day, it's in progress, right? I don't know if it's like a working document, as they say, but I think the special tourist visa, again, I think it's a step in the right direction. And just to be clear, like, I don't know how long it would take the United States to come up with a new friggin' visa. I'm sure more than 2 weeks. So, I mean, this is an interesting thing to definitely follow. But yeah, thank you for that, Todd. You guys click on that link. It's a really good article. Whoa. Now they want to try and sell me something. And my smoothie link is working, Joseph. I'm telling you, dude. Don't mess with my technology.
I'm
Karen Ty. So you mean Ty that are Karens? No, I have not interfaced with I kind of know what you mean. I haven't interfaced with women that I label Karens back in the United States, but I haven't.
I have a very interesting story to tell you about something that would be akin to Karen's.
Okay.
I have a guy that I work with, or I used to work with. He had a girlfriend here who was a national. This is, of course, hearsay, but it sounds plausible because I understand how Southeast Asian culture works. Okay. So, he left our company and he is now on his third job because his first two jobs, allegedly, his girlfriend went and told the school that he was working at that he was a drug dealer and that he had all these problems and blah, blah, blah. So they said, we don't need that kind of stuff around here. You're on your probationary period. Bye-bye. Then he went to a second job and allegedly she showed up there too. And they dismissed him from that job.
For the same thing, she just drugs. She says he's a drug dealer everywhere he goes.
I don't know about the second one, but I know the first one.
Okay.
So now he's on his third job and he's literally hiding from her.
And
these kinds of Allegedly. I'm thinking about, yeah. Allegedly, yes. So, these kinds of things, I know in the Philippines, definitely stuff like that happened to me with some of the Filipino or Filipinos that well, just one that I dated. The other two were super cool. They didn't do anything like that. But this is something that you have to be careful of when you come over here, guys, because if you in any when you decide that a relationship is no good or is not going to work over here, it is my it's not a commandment, but it's a real strong suggestion that you leave the relationship happy. Both of you are happy. You're probably going to have to throw some money at it. And make sure that you are not disrespectful in any way. I personally would record the conversation of the breakup. I would record everything, just to be safe, because I'm trying to tell you, you never know what people will do to you over here in this area of the world, not just Thailand, Southeast Asia in general.
That's a drag. I mean, look at, I've got buddies. I mean, don't forget, in California, specifically Southern California, they're better at divorce than they are at marriage, right? It's 51%.
Right.
And so, that's a real drag. And I got a lot of buddies that have been divorced up to 3 times. One of my really good friends, who looks like Jason Statham, interestingly enough, which is really funny. But he, yeah, I mean, tail between their legs, they walk away completely beat up, usually financially, and that really sucks. And I think your advice is actually good. It's disappointing that it's so accurate that it's necessary. It's like, well, how did you guys meet? Oh, it was great. It was love at first sight. Did you record the call? No, not on our meeting. How about the breakup? Oh yeah. Oh, full motion video. And it's like, oh man. So, I mean, look I think that advice that Jeremy's given you guys is probably really apropos in almost any scenario, not just dating, but in other words, when you have a relationship that is being severed based on less than amicable, scenarios, especially when you're a foreigner in, foreign land. Because there's definitely going to be some degree of, I mean, look here's the deal. Like when I was in Mexico, the default setting was to trust the Mexicans. And to be fair, though, in Mexico, the only people that ever screwed me over in Mexico were gringos. The Mexicans were amazing to me. I've heard some pretty bad horror stories. More cash? What you got, baby? Show it. Yeah. Joseph, by the way, thank you so much for the smoothie, buddy. You're awesome. I really appreciate it.
Let's see if it showed up here. I think somebody hit it with a bit. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to show that name because I don't know who it is, but that's $20. $20. Oh, wait. I can't. I'm on the wrong screen. I can't see myself pointing around here. Here we go. Thank you so very much. There you go. You can see it there. $20. Thank you so much. Hey, there's Aztec. I hadn't seen him in a long time.
Oh,
hey,
yeah. Man. Nice.
So that would be, what did we have? 40. Now we got 50, 60. So I think 100 Traveler will drop 10. That'll be 70. We only need $30 to hit today's goal, guys. So after 100 Traveler drops his 10, we only need $30. $30.
$1,000 baht, baby. $1,000 baht.
That's
super
it.
Easy.
And we can do it too. I know we can do it. I know we can.
Brings up a really good point, which is, it's a normal risk, right, in any country, and nothing to do with Thailand. It's got something to do. In other words, the culture here is it's not as dysfunctional potentially as in the Philippines, meaning that I would argue that in the Philippines there is a lot more gossip. And it's not just towards foreigners. Trust me, I get messages from Gracie. I see some of her posts, and she's just like, oh, yeah, all these people are, they're jealous, and so they're making up stories or whatever.
Of course.
And I heard a little bit of that in, and I said, look, you tell your friends that crazy white guy doesn't have a whole lot of tolerance for that. And I have a habit of setting fire to people's homes. Just throw that out there. If they're looking for, if they're, because what am I going to do? Cripple them financially via the law? Come on, no.
Right.
I'm not gonna bring a civil suit against them. That's not possible. So therefore, just tell them I walk around with a torch, and I have this bad, nasty habit of setting fire to homes.
Exactly. I think the first part of Aztec's comment where it says sounds like a normal risk with any woman you don't know. I agree with that part, but the difference is if I'm in America and I'm dealing with an American woman, she can go to the police and make something up, but I'm a national just like she's a national.
Right.
There's no influence one way or the other, so the evidence will prove itself. Over here, it doesn't really matter if you piss off a national the wrong way. It doesn't really matter if you have evidence otherwise. That's why I mean, like circumstantial evidence. It's kind of irrelevant because you're going to go down for whatever the person says you did. So if you record what happened, immediately send it to the cloud so you have a backup, and make sure that you hold on to your phone or whatever recording device you use. Maybe it's a GoPro laying around your house, something like that, and keep up with that video so you can show the police. I'm not saying it's going to save you from everything, but at least when it goes to court, and it most likely will, when it goes to court, your lawyer can use that, and it's important. It's very important, very important. And like Stuck said, I've had great luck with locals pretty much every country I've been to. So have I, with the exception of the 3 or 4 psychopaths in the Philippines, and then the ex-girlfriend over there. Addie says, as you get older, you don't care what people say or do, and laugh at insecure idiots who envy you because you take the risk and live life. That's a good statement. But at the same time, I would submit to you that there is they can do damage to your life. Like, for example, if you need a job to survive and they're calling your job and telling your job that you're this, you're that, you're this, or that, and they're a national of the country, I'm sorry, I've seen it happen. You're at a disadvantage. You're at a disadvantage.
I'll also tell you too, right? I mean, obviously there's tons and tons of anecdotal evidence about people who, guys primarily, that get swindled or whatever, and they come over here and they find a pretty girl and they fall in love with her and they give her a whole bunch of stuff, and then, she basically, they let them take advantage of you,
Right.
And so, there's some degree of accountability there. But I think also, once you're over here for a while, you're going to be able to spot this sort of behavior. The flags will no longer be pink. Like the first time you see it, it'll be ridiculously red, and you'll be like, I'm going to turn and run the other way. And a lot of that, I think, just comes with experience, and hopefully along the way, you can, again, learn quickly. And to that point, that's why it's like good to have guys like who are wingmen, if you will, not necessarily relationship wise, but guys who have done it before, before you, like Jeremy. I mean, when you come over here, like paying him, hang out with them, that sort of thing. And one of those, and to that point, I wanted to, Todd and Aztec are kind of chatting here, and they were, like, when are you going to come over or whatever. And Todd makes the statement, he's nervous as hell because he's not coming back this time. And I want to tell you that being in that state, for some people, it can be pretty exciting. For example, for me, like I knew I wasn't coming back and I was freaking stoked. I was like, this is so awesome. And believe me, I lived in San Diego 30 years, like the best friends in my entire life, guys that I love, that I would do anything for. I will likely never see them again. So there was a little bit of disappointment for that. And I will tell you, Todd, one of the things that really helped me is that I made time when, quite frankly, I didn't have it and needed to do more important things like get my life architected so I could come over here in 3 pieces of luggage. I made time to have lunch, with my buddy Mike and my buddy and Bill and that sort of thing. I literally architected my schedule around that being the most important thing. The other thing, too, I will tell you is that I didn't just make my schedule available to do that once, because a lot of times, depending upon the other person's personality, that is not sufficient for them. It's not sufficient for them to just have one last lunch. And I will tell you that I am so grateful I did that, because of all the horror stories I've heard about guys moving over here and the girls and all of that. One of the horror stories I never hear about is the guys that leave their home that has truly been a home, not just a place they live, but their community, their buddies, their freaking best buddies, like your best friend. Make the time, dude. And because my experience is, as it gets closer to that day that you're leaving, and quite frankly, it's pretty close already, right, Todd? But the point is that this is for him as well as other guys, because you've pretty much already got all your ducks in a row, Todd. Make the time to spend time with your buddies. And a lot of times they may not necessarily reach out to you, but if you have even the slightest thought in your head that like, well, you'd probably like to see me, stop right there, call them, make an appointment, make sure you go see them, give them your last hug, give them the last smile, because it is very different for them. Their experience of you leaving them and moving to another side of the world is not something that they learned in high school. And it was so rewarding for me to be able to do that. And I didn't consciously really know I was doing it at the time until I got here. Because when I got here, the messages still kind of came in. Like the text sort of came in, the WhatsApps sort of come in. They've pretty much dissipated now. But it was very, very important for me to have been available for that. So again, I'm sort of repeating myself, but I'll tell you, Todd, that nervousness, I totally get it. If you want to talk to me, go for it. Awesome. We can do it offline. Same with Jeremy. I'm quite certain that he will,
Oh
sit
yeah,
down with you.
100%.
But it's important. I honor you for throwing that out there, dude, because if you don't do stuff like that, then the solution could be a lot more painful and slower. Whereas, maybe all you need is a hug the first day you land in Cambodia, dude. So anyway,
That's
thank
it.
you. I appreciate
That's
you sharing.
it.
Did you get more cash? Is that what that ding was?
No, that's my ongoing
saga. There's a
thing.
saga.
Yeah. Stuck said, when you get into a relationship, that changes everything. I'm talking about non-relationship people. Gotcha, Stuck. And Eddie said, had idiots abuse me on talkback radio. I got thick skin, makes me laugh. That's good. Thick skin is a good thing to have when you travel. Robert says it could cause them to lose face and also value. He was talking to Tim, and that is the biggest danger you will run over here in Southeast Asia. I would say that is one of the biggest things that you could do wrong is make a Thai or Filipino or whatever, whatever country you're in, lose face. That's going to come with repercussions every time.
Let me give you an example of the difference in saving face, because I can tell you that as an American, I don't particularly like to be publicly embarrassed either. Okay.
Oh,
so
me either.
Right. So saving face is something that most people do. But here's the greatest description I ever heard, and I think it's actually quite accurate for the Thai culture. If you like publicly and with high volume embarrass basically a Thai person in public and they lose face, it's the equivalent of physically walking up to someone in the United States and punching them in the face.
Yep.
So when you think, oh yeah, I might embarrass this guy, but it's no big deal. No. Think of it as basically committing assault and battery. Okay. It's that significant. And you don't just walk up to the guy later and say, you know what, dude, I'm really sorry. I overreacted at the McDonald's. I shouldn't have done that, because yes, you did that. And then all of his buddies are going to set fire to your house.
Yep. That's right.
It's really that significant. And so think about it as physical harm compared to elsewhere.
100%. Explorer 2019 goes on. This is a good comment. He says, "Experience cures all." I agree with that. He says rookies have the radar so jammed, being in such a target-rich environment, they definitely need wingman. 100%, 100,000% agree with that comment. And the only problem with that comment is it's harder to find good wingman that are expats, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
Don't just find a white guy. Like literally interview the crap out of them to make sure that A, they're not trying to deceive you, but secondly, just that they fit. I mean, it needs to be a fit, dude. You know, I mean, it needs to be, you know, like I could probably be a horrible wingman for you, and Jeremy might be awesome, or Rob might be awesome, or some other guy, Caesar, the guy who lives here in Bangkok, he might be a good one for you. Interview your wingman big time. So I agree with his statement. Yeah, for sure.
I agree. Let's see. Tim says, I have no friends, so it should be easy. Mad Max says, yeah, mate, thanks. Take care, Max. I don't think you're leaving. Eddie says, yes, lose space. It's huge to learn. That's true. Tim said again, sorry about the word.
It's pretty quick to learn.
Yeah. You'll learn. You learn very quick, 100%.
Just think of it as the extreme that I did. Carl, to answer your question, yes, I trade the markets. No, it's not difficult because I also trade pre and post market, and that pretty much overlaps. Very early evening, very early morning, but early evening, I can do a ton of stuff at 6 p.m. here. So.
And Mike's going to teach me how to do this once I have enough money to put in investment.
Okay. You want me to give you your first lesson? Don't wait until you have enough money. Start. Because if you don't have enough money right now, that means you'll be buying like $1, $2, $3, $4. So if you lose it all, it's okay. Because the worst thing that's going to affect your investing is your emotions. You need to be a computer. You need to be emotionless. That's the first step. Take $10.
I've heard that before. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Was I emotional enough about that?
No, I think that's I think you're 100% accurate on there. So yeah, I'm with you on that one, bro.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving right along. Oh, as I say that, here comes more money.
More money, more problems.
More money. More money. There's one hungry traveler who sent in his $10 as he promised. You guys see? Yep. $10. So that makes it 70. We need 30 to go. 30 to go. My people, 30 to go. 30 to go. So 3 people, $10. 6 people, $5. There's a whole bunch of ways of doing that, and I greatly appreciate it. I just want to hit today's goal, and I will be a very happy human being because next weekend I'm going to be shopping, or perhaps over the October holiday I'm going to be shopping, and I'm going to get that GoPro, the wireless, the mic for the camera, and I'm also going to try to get a mic for the computer set up. So the more the merrier. Just saying.
Joseph asks, where in Bangkok is a nice neighborhood to move into? Now, again, that is very subjective, my friend. If you want to know where the most Western, cleanest, sort of non-Thai neighborhood, and I'm not saying there aren't clean Thai neighborhoods. The short answer is there are dozens. Like Saladang area, Silom area, there are like tree-lined streets. I did a quick walk and talk video when I was over there like 2-3 weeks ago. Chitlom, basically, that goes from Sukhumvit all the way down to like Lumpini Park. That is arguably the most expensive Farang area of the highest density, meaning the majority of the people that live there are Farang. There's a lot of French that live there. The places are very expensive, but, you know, and people drive like really, really expensive cars. I live in what I consider to be a very nice neighborhood, and I pay 12,000 baht a month for a 1-bedroom condo. It's quiet. The people here treat me really good. It's really close to the BTS. But if you're looking for like tree-lined streets, look, that's totally available. If you're looking for like a single family home on an acre of land, that you got to move pretty far out of the city to do.
Yeah.
And by single family home, I'm meaning, like one up on stilts sort of thing. You're not going to find like a Victorian house, right? That's like got its own circular driveway and gates and that sort of thing. So it depends what you mean by nice, but the short answer is come over here and figure out your nice. Figure out what your nice is, and then just keep cruising around. Because honestly, dude, pretty much everything you ever wanted is available in or near Bangkok. The cost of it could be potentially a lot higher. Because I can get a dynamite pizza here, but it costs $35.
Yeah.
So it's available. Exactly. It's just the cost, right?
A couple comments over here. Eric says, "Is breaking up with a Thai girl dangerous?" The short answer is it could be. That depends on the breakup. He says, or just ignoring them. Probably one of the worst things you could do is just ignore a Thai girl or Filipino. Even after the breakup, continue to answer their text and be gentle when you with words, because you don't want it to be a dangerous situation. Caesar says, "Keep your heart with all diligence, because out of it are the issues of life." 100 Traveler says, "Hello to everyone." Eric says, "I missed something. Emotionless about what?" I think he was talking about what you were saying, Mike.
Trading.
Yeah. Talking about trading, stocks, stuff like that. Tim says, "Investment question. If I love, say, animals, should I invest in animal type stuff?"
Look, as I mentioned before, the way I invest like an owner, not like a gambler. Okay. So do your due diligence about it. Pets are very, it can be interesting. It's also very emotional for the people that buy the products. But again, if you like something and you want to get more, do your, like this. I love this comment right here, which is, don't watch the market. Agreed. But do your research on the company and find out like where it's going. So.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. I've got a lot to learn about it, and you just made a really good point with don't wait until you have enough money. So because I've heard that a lot.
It's the Western curse. We never have enough money. We never make enough money. Our boat is never big enough. Our house is never large enough. Our cars are never fast enough. And
I agree. Doorman says that's not just Thai girls, that's all Asian girls. It can be dangerous, especially if you were cheating on them or lied to them. If you cheated on them and they caught you or lied to them, you're if they have any sliver of evidence of it, you're probably gonna leave Thailand and not come back for a little while.
Here's the best advice I used to give pretty much every single person I would coach when I was doing executive coaching, business coaching. And it's very simple. Don't be a jerk. Okay. Because if you're trying to find a scenario where you can be okay by lying, cheating, or stealing, then I would argue that you need to spend a lot more money on therapy than you do on your next relationship. Because if you think anything that you've done is being done to you, no, you've brought the negative energy to it, and this is just the response for it. I stole that woman's purse. I can't believe she hit me in the face. Well, you know what, bro? That's what they teach in purse school. Someone steals it, hit the person in the face. So, so I'm not trying to single you out, and I completely understand the fact that people cheat on people, and it happens, and it's just something, but again, if you, what is the phrase? If you step on the toes of your fellows, they will retaliate in kind. If any of you know what book I'm quoting, then you know that it's a very successful one. So.
Yeah, they were just talking about more the 3-day rule. That's more for tourists that are coming over for um, uh, one purpose and one purpose only. And stuck in Florida, it says the tide not any more than Latinos. I can agree with that. I know a lot of Latino women, and yeah, so I can say that I agree with that. I think that's I'm caught up on comments right now.
Mike likes
just
the pizza company because they have comfortable chairs. Forget it, dude.
the pizza company
Pizza
actually
company.
makes some decent food. They just
Oh.
you don't like the pizza company?
No, I don't think they
I
make
take
good
that
food.
as a no.
Yeah, Domino's
No.
is bad over here too. Yeah, I don't like those pizzas.
They have you tried Gallery Pizza?
No, where's that? Oh my God, you're dropping money on the ground.
No, I'm dropping my earbud. Same thing, right? Gallery Pizza, you have to look them up. I'm not 100% sure where they are. I
Okay.
get them delivered by Grab. So
Nice. Okay.
I mean, excuse me, not by Grab. They have their own drivers.
Oh, okay.
Gallery Pizza
Nice.
does. So they deliver directly to you. So,
Hike, I'm not saying anything bad about your choice in food. I will tell you right now that I am hardly a gourmet, and you guys got to remember that in the morning for coffee, I drink 17-cent 3-in-1s by Moccona. So if you like Pizza Company, dude, regardless of whether they have good chairs or not, I completely am on board with you. I like food that I like, and every now and then I have a piece of Pizza Hut pizza, not necessarily here, but and it's like, wow, this is actually pretty good, and then I move on. But yeah, I mean, you grow up in New England, you get pretty spoiled with really decent pizza. Fish is excellent, as well as ice cream. New England makes really, really good ice cream. So
I
there you go.
love ice cream. Love ice cream.
It
Caesar
shows on me.
said, lasagna and amoebas can live for years in your body. He's asking some kind of scientific question I have no idea about. What I do know about is we're $30 away, guys. $30 away from the DoMoreLife goal for the weekend. And I want to say in a very nice, humble way that if we don't hit it, it doesn't matter. If we do hit it, it's great because that always helps out. And for those of you who have contributed, I love you and I appreciate it. But we'll continue on with the chat. I just want to throw that in there because we're so close, like 30 bucks, so close. But yeah, there's some people talking about stocks over on my comments too, Mike. If you want to address those, you can.
Well, first of all, here's the deal. All I can say is that, yeah, there are specific ones that I certainly have a lot of passion for. I'm a tech guy, so I get into that. I've thought about, oh man, I should buy this biotech stock, but I have no business investing in those companies because I'm unable to evaluate their ability to potentially increase their revenue because the market is, I don't know that vertical at all. But yeah, I mean, look, there's potential for everything. I think it's pretty easy though to say that, like, look, there are like 3 or 4 trends that are going to just really, really dominate our future technology wise. And, not the least of which is AI and ML. Right. And so like, who does AI and ML the best? Google, Alibaba, Microsoft does it pretty damn well too. Boston Robotics is a great company, but of course, the majority of that is owned by, oh my God, SoftBank. But I mean, here's the deal. And it's not so much in Thailand, but if you walk anywhere or are anywhere in the United States and you see someone doing something that like they do it today and tomorrow you see them doing exactly the same thing, their job's gone. Their whole career is basically going to crater in the next decade. There is going to be automation for almost everything. So any company that is basically on the forefront of that you're going to like look back 10 years from now and say, oh my God, this makes sense. How did I possibly ever live without a cell phone that I don't need a headset for because it's connected to me neurologically. You know, I can't believe I actually used to take planes to go somewhere when I can go Virgin Galactic and take a you know, a rocket kind of thing. Was that I never know what your money sounds are.
No, that wasn't it. The money sounds are a little bit
They go boop.
yes, it's a smaller sound when they come through, but it doesn't look like we're going to get there, and that's okay. Believe me, there's been plenty of not getting theirs before, and it's not a problem at all. We just
The internet is
try to get back on it next week. Robert's got the PayPal link up if anybody wants to close out the $30 gap. And Addie says, had 3 girlfriends over 4 months, but was in party freedom mode. Girlfriends come and go, have fun unless you know she's the one. Yeah, but
how do you know?
There's a caveat to that over here. And then Caesar says something about some kind of amoebas that can live for years in your body. Is that true? I don't know. Stuck in Florida says, I just ate a Klondike bar.
Yeah, but what would you do for one?
Right. And Eric says chili and cornbread. Oh, I want chili and cornbread. We were talking about opening a chili and cornbread store yesterday.
You can't find that here?
I have not been able to find that yet.
Really? Okay, because there's
really,
like
I haven't.
Food Western places like all over the place.
I have not been able to find
Carl, the markup on computers, electronics is high. It's sometimes as high as 200% if you include the taxes. Depends on the item and depends on where it's coming from. But things are at least 10% more expensive here, unless they're effectively, you know, manufactured and assembled here. But yeah, they're more expensive. If you need an iPhone, buy it in the United States before you come here. That's the short answer.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. And unfortunately, I don't think I can wait till I get back to the States to buy one. I'm going to have to buy one. Maybe I'll buy an older model or something because I have an iPhone 7 Plus and it's not really keeping up, so to speak. Senior Frank says Roadhouse Barbecue has both. Oh, let me write that down.
Yeah, I would figure there would be, because I mean, there's barbecue places around here, right? I mean, they're very Western barbecue. You know, they put a ton of sugar in the sauce, basically. Carl says he bought $40K worth of ExxonMobil. Depends when you bought it, dude. I mean, if you bought it like a year ago, then you don't have a whole lot of $40K left. Hit hard in the last 6 months, big time. He says good cash reserves and excellent dividend. Buy and hold for the long term, though. I got to tell you, dude, ExxonMobil. I'm not saying people won't buy fuel, and I'm not saying it's not going to go above 37 where it's at right now, which is just sad. But they're so capital intensive, dude. Organizations like that are so capital intensive. I don't find them to be very innovative, which is, again, not something that I go for. I can completely understand, though, your justification to go for it as far as you goes. But again, it's not me. I bought some and then I sold it, and I was just like, nah, this isn't me. I shouldn't be investing in energy stocks. I should be investing in, you know, tech. But
I like that. Roadhouse has been there forever, they say. Well, I'm gonna have to check that out for sure.
When you guys go, do you like quote Peter Griffin every time you go there? You're like, Roadhouse. Yes. Do you watch Family Guy, Jeremy?
No, I don't.
Oh, so you don't even know that quote, dude. I'm telling you what.
No, I don't know that quote. Unfortunately.
Game changer. You do find it. You need to find a system that works for you. That's true. Wow, you need to bail, dude. What time is it? Oh my God, 2 hours, and my God.
No, we've been. We're almost 3 hours into it here, bud.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Cool. It definitely is awesome. Definitely is awesome. I love Smoking Joe's there. Definitely love Smoking Joe's, but they don't have cornbread there. So I would use it. Is it cheaper to buy something in Thailand or use Amazon? I'm going to tell you that the Amazon shipping rates over here are stupid. So, if you can find the product in Thailand, you can probably buy it on Lazada and get it, which is, for those of you that don't know, Lazada is like the Amazon of basically the Southeast Asian region, sort of. And you can buy a lot of things on there. Stuck said, I had a Thai lady that wouldn't go out with me because she thought I was lying about not having Facebook.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, nice.
That Facebook question always gets it. So, for my guys, I would just like to say that I'm going to close my part out, Mike. You can keep going.
No, that's cool, dude. I'm looking at the Roadhouse Barbecue, which is over by Solid Dang, for God's sake. I had no idea it was like right smack dab in the middle. I don't see any cornbread. I'm not seeing any cornbread on that menu, but go ahead.
On the menu? Okay. We'll I have to check it out. So for my guys, first of all, thank you all. Thank you for the new channel member I got yesterday, Eric. We're glad to have you on, and appreciate that very much. My moderator stuck in Florida, Robert. Roger was on here at some point, and there may have been somebody else. If I missed you, I'm sorry, but my moderators are absolutely awesome. And I want to send a bunch of love to them. We had a great weekend. We had a good stream yesterday. We had a great stream today. And we came very close to hitting our goal both days for the weekend. So that is absolutely amazing. And I appreciate you guys so incredibly much for making sure that DoMoreLife stays alive and has the ability to go out and gather some content for you guys. It's going to be about a week before I start releasing more videos, unless they're talking head videos, because I can't really get out and travel through the week. I need to wait for holidays. On the weekends, this is what I do, as you guys know. So I encourage everybody to check out Mike's podcast, Bangkok Strange. And definitely, if you haven't subscribed to his channel, you should do so if you want
Agreed.
some good some good information. His channel goes way back to when he had hair, or a little bit of hair anyway.
What a bad decision that was.
My point is, love you guys. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button on your way out the door. And if you so desire, we are $30 short of the goal. So if you want to punch in a 5 or a 10, that would be totally awesome. But if not, I hope that all of you have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week coming up. I think that I'm definitely going to have a good week, a good positive week. So, whatever you do today, guys, be sure to do more life.
Totally awesome.
Mike, you can take it away, bro.
Thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate it. These Sunday things are very, very cool. I just realized I'm going to be in Krabi next Sunday, actually going to the airport and coming back home. So unfortunately, we might not be able to do it next Sunday, but I'm looking forward to doing it again. And with that, it's Mike's from LiveMyAssOff.com saying specifically to Aztec, who just jumped in and gave me a 99-cent super sticker. I hope you guys are living the dream, because if you're not living the dream, then there's a high likelihood that you have not been to Bangkok and hung out at the Roadhouse Barbecue. I'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao.